First stream.
Hey.
Yeah. So okay.
Oh.
What's up, everybody? So this looks a little bit different. Stream time, live stream. We've always recorded videos and put them up on YouTube, but now we're on the internet and we're doing it live. So hello, my name is Matt Taylor. I am the typical DM over at Ascension Stories. We do YouTubes and Twitters, and now Twitches. Kale and Sarah. Sarah, you're directly below me on Twitch. Introduce yourself, and then Kale.
I'm Sarah. Did I do it?
You did it. Yep. Where are you from, Sarah?
Portland.
Cool. And do you play D&D?
I totally play D&D all the time.
I'm not convinced.
Awesome
and the thing is, you do, but I'm not convinced.
You're there with me, and you're not convinced. I do, and I love D&D.
All right, Kale, introduce yourself.
I am Kale McDaniel. I live in Memphis now, which is really awesome.
Yeah, represent.
And I have played D&D for a really long time now, or it feels like a really long time now.
Since high school, right?
Yeah, at least 10 years. Which, I mean, to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I've been playing way longer.
Since what version have you been playing? Have you guys been playing?
I started playing in 3rd.
Okay. 3.5 was my first edition, and you
I
introduced it
played
to me.
A bunch of 3.5. Yeah.
Sarah, what about you? What version did you start in?
I started in 3.5, but I didn't play that much back then, so really 5e is kind of my bread and butter.
Yeah, 5e. I've spent more time in 5e than anything else. Yeah. All right, so tonight we are going through Xanathar's Guide, as you can see also right there next to my face. Next to both of my faces, or just the single face, but both images there. Both. And this is a cool book. Okay, so to be honest with you, I didn't actually know what the book was before I ordered it. I was just like, hey, new book. And I just jumped on that. And it was like a guide to everything. And it had a giant beholder on it, and I love beholders. And so I bought it. It got here, Amazon Prime.
Can't confirm.
And it turns out this book is really, really useful. And I thought, man, we need to go through this book together. And we figured that it'd be a good time to go through it with anybody from Twitter that wanted to hop over and go through it with us. Okay, so do you guys know what this book is?
I purposefully know very little about it.
Okay, well, Sarah, what about you? Do you know much about what this is?
I know a little bit about it. I have not looked into it intentionally because I wanted to go through it with you guys.
Okay, so this is an expansion on both the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide in the same book. It clarifies a few rules that might be confusing or weren't entirely clear in the Player's Handbook and or Dungeon Master's Guide. And it includes a ton of Unearthed Arcana from the Wizards website. And so basically Unearthed Arcana was play-tested, all that kind of stuff. People decided what they liked and what they hated. And the stuff that was everybody's favorite and that was play-tested and then refined was included in this book. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and go through it slowly and methodically. If you guys have questions in chat, looks like we've got a few people here. Feel free to shoot those out. Kale and Sarah both are in chat, chatting it up with people. And if you guys see some questions that tickle your fancy, then bring them up to me, and I'll find the answer in this little book. Okay, so Xanathar is actually the beholder, and this is his goldfish. I forget what the goldfish's name, but it's his favorite item. It's his favorite possession in the entire universe.
Really?
Yes. So Xanathar, the beholder, wrote this book, and this is his compendium of knowledge on everything. So that was my first impression. That's the first bit of the book is it's giving you like this role-playing almost aspect to this rule book.
I love it.
It's very cool. It's very fun. It is in typical Wizards style. You feel immersed from the get-go, and it starts off just because reading all of these rules can be really, really almost like just taxing, because it can get, you know, detailed and trenchy. But if you start with a lot of fun and role-playing, then it makes it a little bit less like work than you know, than reading like a law book, a textbook.
Right.
Okay, so I've got some notes written over here that kind of go over the highlights for what I found particularly interesting and useful to our group specifically. But this whole book, it could be useful for, you know, a lot of different groups, a lot of different DMs and players for a lot of different reasons. So just to kind of look over the glossary here, or table of contents, not the glossary. We've got an introduction where where Xanathar is kind of talking to us, and it gives us kind of a few like 10 rules to remember. Yeah. The section is actually called 10 Rules to Remember. And that's like I was saying earlier about stuff that wasn't exactly clear, or things that come up often in a D&D game that, you know, you're looking for an answer, but it's hard to find one. There are new character options. So new character class options for all classes, or like archetypes and all that kind of stuff. And so Kale and Eric's in chat right now, War Hero 900 ER, Eric Roberts. There's a couple of things that I think that you guys are going to be particularly interested in, especially you, Eric. So for every class, you've got cool stuff. They've got a section called This Is Your Life. The Player's Handbook does a decent job of giving options and suggestions for like backgrounds and backstory and how to develop your character and that kind of thing. But it's a bit more game oriented than it is character and role playing oriented. Xanathar's guide goes really, really heavy on the role playing aspect, and so it gives you tables and suggestions for like your parents, your upbringing, jobs that you've had, and it's really good about guiding players into thinking about their character as a person rather than like a character that you selected at the beginning of a game.
That's really nice.
Dungeon Masters tools. Just a lot of different kinds of rules that it expands on, like falling, sleeping, tool proficiencies. You guys are going to get excited about that. You can actually make stuff. It gives you a guide on making stuff now. Cool. Like magic items and like things that you're like, I want to make a potion. Well, there's an actual like process for that now.
Cool.
That is intuitive. It makes sense. It's better than buying potions at the market. And it's really, really cool. Let's see, some quick matchups and a bit more expansion on encounter building for our group specifically. That doesn't really help us at all, just because one, you guys, when we rolled the characters, we rolled them to be overpowered, and then we gave you guys lots of magic items, or maybe not lots, but like very powerful magic items, just because we wanted there to be like this superhero aspect. And so encounter building and budgeting, that kind of stuff, from the book standpoint, doesn't really make sense for us. I have to homebrew that. Traps. It goes really heavy into traps. It goes really heavy into downtime for player characters.
Okay.
And that's really cool. We'll get into that later. And then magic items, lots more magic items, and then a ton of spells. New spells. Brand new spells.
Spells?
Spells.
Spell?
Spells?
Spells for every
What class
class.
spells?
New spells. All kinds of spells. Happy spells. Good spells. And then and then the last like 25 pages of the book are just NPC names.
Okay. That's
Just
awesome.
like 25 pages of names. It's
That's pretty
fantastic.
rad.
Okay. So let's get started. We're going to start with page 5. Page 5. So 10 rules to remember. One thing that often comes up in our group is the rule of rounding down. And what we found, and we had to, like every few months or so, we look up on the internet, in 5e, do we round up or round down in this specific situation? And the book here just reminds us, you always, always, always round down in 5e, except on rolling health. Or actually, the book says whenever you divide or multiply a number in the game, round down if you end up with a fraction, even if the fraction is 1/2 or greater. So I think the internet says except on health, but the book does not specify that. So it talks about reaction timing. Going into reactions, certain game features let you take special action called a reaction. We all know that, like opportunity attacks and like hellish rebuke, those kinds of things. In response to some event, or like if you ready an action, making opportunity attacks, casting shield. Okay, yeah. If you're unsure of when a reaction occurs in relation to its trigger, here's the rule. The reaction happens after its trigger completes, unless the description of the reaction explicitly says otherwise. So just basically, there are 10 of these that go through and, things that often come up. Just very common circumstances that you easily forget the rule on, because all 10 of these were super, super helpful to me. Some more than others, but these were very common scenarios that came up in our games. Temporary hit points.
It's just my head.
Temporary hit points are not cumulative. If you have temporary hit points and receive more of them, you don't add them together unless the game feature says you can. Instead, you decide which temporary hit points you keep.
I see.
Yeah. So if you get new hit points or new temporary hit points in a new round, then those replace the others. What'd you say?
Colby was asking if my camera's tilted sideways, and I just listen like that. That's my listening face.
No, that's Sarah's posture.
Yeah.
We're trying to raise money for a brace.
I'll take it though, because I do have really bad posture.
Okay, so you guys have any questions about those helpful rules? If not, we're going to go to page 11, where there is a barbarian path. And okay, so I'm skipping through a lot of these paths. Let me just read them off real quick, just so you guys have those. We've got barbarian. Under the barbarian class, we've got 3 subclasses: Path of the Ancestral Guardian, Path of the Storm Herald, and Path of the Zealot. All 3 of those sound really cool for Desmond.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was thinking.
There's one that works, I think, a bit more than the others. So I don't think that Eric was planning on multi-classing into Barbarian. I think he was looking at Paladin, but this looks really neat. Okay, so moving on to Bard, we've got 3 subclasses for Bards as well. The College of Glamour.
Ooh.
Living that glamorous life. College of Swords, which is really how you played Roscoe, Kale. You would have really loved College of Swords for Roscoe.
Kind of a dueler.
Mm-hmm. And that's not like a southern way of pronouncing doula. It's dueler.
Dueller.
Duellery. And then the College of Whispers. For cleric, we've got 2 domains, the Forge domain and the Grave domain. For druids...
Sorry, you said the last college was the College of Whispers?
Whispers, yes.
That's really cool, too.
It sounds neat. I think it's about, like, being... It's kind of a roguish kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Where you get into people's heads, do nightmares, and then also you do... I think you're really good at, like, just, like, spy tactics, that kind of thing. For clerics, we've got 2 domains, the Forge domain and the Grave domain. For druids, we've got Circle of Dreams and the Circle of the Shepherd. I skimmed these. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to them because I didn't find them relevant to our group.
I love Circle of Dreams, though.
Right.
That's the one I was looking at.
You were making a Circle of Dreams character, right?
Oh, from the Unearthed Arcana thing. Yeah.
For Kale's campaign.
For the fighter, we've got 3 subclasses. The Arcane Archer, which I think you'd be very interested in for Tave, and we'll have to look at what that means for Tave if you really dig it and you're like, this fits way better than the Battle Master. The Cavalier and the Samurai. For monks, we've got 3 subclasses. The Way of the Drunken Master. Mastering the...
There was a Drunken Master class. I think it was like... I don't remember if it was in like a book that they released later in 3.5 or if it was just like a homebrewed thing. But there was a Drunken Master class in 3.5 too.
This must be a 5e version of that. I was curious as to like how that's even like viably a class.
Be fun.
And the way it works is the warrior, the monk, moves like a drunkard and like just sways and swaggers unpredictably, and then suddenly strikes. Quick strike. I'm assuming that the strikes are not drunken, because then they'd just be entirely ineffective.
Like they almost always miss, but when they hit, like it really hurts. That's what I.
They experience no pain until the next day, and then they don't understand.
They don't understand.
Why do I hurt
What
everywhere? I'm gonna mess this up. Way of the Kinsei. I can say.
Huh?
Way of the Kinsei.
Kinsei?
Way of the Sun Soul.
Sun Soul?
Sun Soul, yep.
That sounds cool.
For Paladins, we've got Oath of Conquest and Oath of Redemption. For the Rangers, we've got...
Kensei. Got a comment that it's Kensei.
Kensei.
Say it right?
Kensei.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, D&D Dad. Also, welcome from Twitter.
Also, welcome.
Oath of Conquest and Oath of Redemption for the Paladins. Ranger Gloomstalker. It's very gloomy. Horizon Walker and Monster Slayer. I was looking at Monster Slayer for a one-shot I was going to do. For the Rogues, we've got 4 subclasses.
Nice.
The Inquisitive Rogue, the Mastermind, the Scout, and the Swashbuckler.
Oh, I played a swashbuckler.
Did you?
Yeah, that was in Eric's one-shot where my friend died.
Oh, right, where you poured marbles on sand.
Oh, no.
In fairness, I pictured a very flat arena floor.
Yeah, let's get... Okay.
Regardless of Eric's...
I listened to that, to the audio recording that he did. He definitely specified sand.
He did, yeah. I was desperate and just sort of like making up the environment.
I was mowing while I was listening to that, and I remember stopping and being like, wait, what? What did you just do?
Shade from... Yeah, I did. I didn't do it. I was going to do it, and then I stopped myself before it got really embarrassing. Glad we stopped there. Not everybody knows, so it's okay.
Right.
Okay, for the Sorcerer, we've got the Divine Soul Shadow Magic. And and storm sorcery,
Storm sorcery.
which sounds like something your grandma might say if you ask her what's going on. Like, why is it so windy?
Some storms.
There's got storm sorcery outside.
That shadow magic.
That's what my grandma sounds like anyway. For the warlocks, we've got the celestial and the hex blade. And for the wizard, we've got war magic. Just the one for the wizard.
Is it the best one though?
You know, I didn't look at it because I didn't think you'd be interested. I didn't expect that question, but I can look at that later.
No, it's okay. It doesn't
okay,
sound
so
very Ren.
for Eric, I was reading through the barbarians, and on page 11, the path of the zealot, I think for Eric, it would be really, really cool. I think you'd be very interested in this. The opening paragraph on that is, some deities inspire their followers to pitch themselves into ferocious battle fury. These barbarians are zealots, warriors who channel their rage into powerful displays of divine power. Sounds like somebody we know.
Sure
A
does.
variety of gods across the world in D&D inspire their followers to embrace this path. Tempest from Forgotten Realms, Hextor, and in general, the gods who inspire zealots are deities of combat, destruction, and violence. Or violence. I would say or violence. I would have said or violence there. Combat, destruction, or violence. Just because I don't feel like Cord is a god of destruction. It might be, though. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's up to interpretation.
Right.
Divine Fury at level 3, when you choose this path. So you do have to advance 3 levels into Barbarian before you get the goods from this subclass. While you're raging, the first creature you hit on each of your turns with a weapon attack takes extra damage equal to 1d6 plus half your Barbarian level. Rounded down. The extra damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
When you gain this feature, so you choose it once. Also, Warrior of the Gods. Your soul is marked for endless battle. This is at level 3. If a spell such as Raise Dead has the sole effect of restoring you to life, but not to undeath, the caster doesn't need material components to cast a spell on you. You get a free, you can be rezzed for free because, yeah. A spell slot is expended, but it doesn't cost anything.
That's nice.
Just because, yeah. Because that stuff is expensive. You're looking at thousands of gold in stones and materials.
Gems.
All the gems of the world.
I need those for
Jimmy.
looking at.
I need those for my fingers.
And also transporting things. Like crucial things.
Yep. So there's a couple of barbarian paths that I figured Eric would be interested in, but specifically that one seems really, really neato. Fighter path of the Arcane Archer. You want to hear about that one, Kale?
Yes.
That's on page 28. Got that? Nope, brother.
Arcane Archer.
Okay, so the Arcane Archer is a unique elven method of archery that weaves magic into attacks to produce supernatural effects. Arcane Archers are some of the most elite warriors among the elves. They stand watch over the fringes of elven domains, keeping a keen eye out for trespassers using magic-infused arrows to defeat monsters and invaders before they reach elven settlements. Before I go on, that seems very lore-specific. I would not have gone so heavy on the elven aspect there. Just because it kind of makes, by reading that, it makes me feel like, oh, if you're not elven, it doesn't make sense for you to be an arcane archer. But I don't think that's the case at all. So at third level, you learn magical theory or some of the secrets of nature. Typical for practitioners of this elven martial tradition, you choose to gain proficiency in either arcana or nature. And you choose to learn either the prestidigitation or the druidcraft cantrip.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
That is really cool.
Also at 3rd level, you gain Arcane Shot.
And create magic arrow.
Magic arrows at 7th level.
Oh, okay.
So Arcane Shot, you learn to unleash magical effects with some of your shots. When you gain this feature, you learn 2 Arcane Shot options of your choice below. And there's a lot there. It's kind of like the Battle Master tactics, or whatever it's called, maneuvers is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Except arrows. Once per turn, you fire a magic arrow from your short bow or longbow as part of the attack action. You can apply one of your arcane shot options to that arrow. You decide to use this option when the arrow hits the creature, so that way you don't waste it. Unless the option doesn't involve an attack roll. You have 2 uses of this ability, and you regain all expended uses after you finish a short or long rest.
That's really cool.
You gain additional arcane shot options of your choice when you reach certain levels in this class. 7th, 10th, 15th, and 18th. But you can only ever use 2 between rests. So there's some cool options here, dude.
We also have a comment that there's a non-elf caveat at the end of it.
Is there?
Apparently,
Yes. I skipped
It's
right
sort
over
of
that.
like-
Over the centuries, the methods of these elf archers have been learned by members of other races who can also balance arcane aptitude with archery. Well, looky there.
Look at this.
Stopped that immediately right before I should have.
Sorry.
Okay, so the
That is like a little baby blurb, to be fair.
baby blurb.
Little baby blurb.
Okay, so one of the arrows, bursting. So there's banishing arrow, beguiling arrow, bursting arrow, enfeebling arrow, grasping arrow, piercing arrow.
Grasping arrow, what's that do?
Grasping arrow, poisonous brambles wrap around the target. The creature hit by the arrow takes an extra 2d6 poison damage.
Ooh.
Its speed is reduced by 10 feet, and it takes 2d6 slashing damage the first time on each of its turns it moves 1 foot or more without teleporting.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yep.
I love fancy arrows.
Piercing arrow kind of works like lightning bolt, just with less damage.
Could do some cool combos.
Bursting arrow is immediately after the arrow hits the creature, the target, and all of the creatures within 10 feet take 2d6 force damage, and then it increases to 46 when you reach 18th level.
Oh,
Wow, that's
it's
like
a
super
ranged
in-game.
thunder.
Yeah, it's like a, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really cool because there have been several times that I've been like, I wish we could do this, but from a distance.
Like a ranged thunder wave, yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't always want to be in the middle of whatever's happening that we need to thunder.
Right.
Turns out.
So it looks like well, I'm looking at the Unearthed Arcana version of it, so it may be different. They probably have changed some stuff.
They definitely changed at least some.
Yeah.
Magic arrow at level 7, curving shot at level 7 as well.
That's cool.
It's curving shot. Sorry.
When you make an attack roll with a magic arrow and miss, you can use a bonus action to re-roll the attack roll against another different target within 60 feet of the original target.
Wow.
So just,
That's
yo!
badass.
Yeah, send that to an arc. Get that English on the...
I meant to do that.
That's awesome.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. And so at 7th level, all of your arrows are magic.
That's really cool.
Feel pretty strongly about that. Tave.
So that's pretty neat.
What about this War Wizard?
Can you curve the arrow multiple times? You cannot. You only get one bonus action per turn.
Oh yeah, that's the bonus action.
Is there a limit per rests? I think I think you can curving shot. You can do this. You can do this whenever you miss,
Wow.
and there's another target within 60 feet.
That's really strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have that for spells?
Can I have curving spell?
What if I
Curving
miss with magic missile and then I just don't?
Yeah, I mean,
I never miss with magic
auto
missile.
hit, yay.
Yeah. But I do roll a lot of ones, so
You rolled a lot of 4s last time, though.
I did.
Like last-
what a time to
last
do
session.
it. I never miss.
No bonus to attack or damage on the D&D Dad. D&D Dad.
Oh, for magic.
Says curving shot. Is that? Are you talking about curving shot there, D&D Dad?
Thanks, man.
That 10-second delay.
I know that
Yeah.
the delay is interesting. It's like really.
Oh, for the magic arrows.
Right. Yeah. No bonus. Yeah. It's just magic for the purposes of, like doing harmful damage to things that are resistant to anything but magic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Are there any classes that you guys want to hear about? Because it's pretty much open at this point. Before we move on to the next session, that this is your life.
I want to hear about the College of Whispers.
College of Whispers.
I do too. It's very Viserys.
Well, actually, I don't know. I feel like Roscoe would have like visited all 3 of those colleges. You know what I mean? Like he
He would have, though.
College of Whiskers. College of Whiskers.
It's just animals. It's like a petting zoo.
Oh my God.
Someone make it. Done. You're welcome.
There's just cats everywhere. It's the worst. The real worst.
It's the
There's
worst.
so many cats on Twitter as well. Oh man, I feel so bad. I scroll through
know.
the feed and it's just like, you guys,
I'm sorry.
you guys,
I never spam you with my.
take like a 2-minute break. All right,
They
most
have really cute dogs too.
most folk are happy to welcome a bard into their midst. That's a good start to College of Whisper. Most folk are happy to welcome a bard in their midst.
Many
Think
people
again.
are okay with bards.
Bards of the College of Whispers use this to their advantage. They appear to be like other bards, sharing news, singing songs, telling tales to the audiences they gather. In truth, the College of Whispers teaches its students that they are wolves among sheeps. These bards use their knowledges and magic to uncover secrets and turn them against others through extortion and threats. Many other bards hate the College of Whispers, viewing it as a parasite that uses a bard's reputation to acquire wealth and power. For this reason, members of this college rarely reveal their true nature. They typically claim to follow some other college, or they keep their actual calling secret in order to infiltrate and exploit royal courts and other settings of power. This sounds very familiar.
Does it? I don't know.
Well,
I
I
can't
actually
say it doesn't
played
like bring.
I played a rogue one time that pretended to be a bard. So like he everyone thought he was a bard, even the people that I was playing with. The DM knew that he was actually a rogue. But he like carried around an instrument and
That's a cool idea.
fun.
Yeah. Like nobody actually knew your actual class. And so everybody's like super mad at
No,
you
that is
always for like not
subversive.
giving you.
why are his hand crossbows doing so much damage?
Also, why don't you pass me Bardic Inspiration ever?
Ever.
That's
Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
Teve is actually like a sorcerer? Like a full blown sorcerer? That would be crazy.
The whole time.
Yeah. He's just been pulling his punches. That's kind of fun.
He didn't on that one guy that he knocked out. When you join the College of Whispers at 3rd level, you gain the ability to make your weapon attacks magically toxic to a creature's mind.
That does sound familiar.
When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to deal an extra 2d6 psychic damages to that target. You can also do so only once per round on your turn.
That's cool.
And then the psychic damage increases as you gain levels.
Screaming daggers.
That's cool. Is there like, I don't know much about bards, but I don't think there's like really a way for them to do a ton of damage right now, right? Like,
only through spells. Their damage output is going to be on the lower side.
I mean, other utility class in a lot of ways.
I mean,
so
right, yeah. Like you, yeah. Like,
just nice to have the flexibility.
When Sam, in Critical Role in that final battle, spoilers, using...
Oh, okay, talk, and just wave at me when you're done.
Okay, so like using Counterspell and stuff like that, like utility spells was, his go-to. Like that's what was expected of him was, the more defensive, that sort of thing. Like he wasn't expected to do a lot of damage. To boost his allies and debuff the enemies. So yeah, having an option where you're like, I want to be a bard that hurts people. The book gives you options for that now.
Hurty bard.
I'm a hurty bard.
And with psychic damage.
Words of Terror, also at level 3. You learn to infuse innocent-seeming words with an insidious magic that can inspire terror. If you speak to a humanoid alone for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to seed paranoia in its mind.
Oh my gosh.
This is okay. At the end of the conversation, the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be frightened of you or another creature of your choice. The target is frightened in this way for 1 hour until it is attacked or damaged, or until it witnesses its allies being attacked or damaged.
That's subversive.
That has a... and if the target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to frighten it. There is no consequence for failure.
Wow.
Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. The
coolest part about that to me is you can make them scared of someone else.
Right. Yeah. So you take them aside.
Idea.
Yeah. So this is a lot of role play potential. You take an NPC aside and you're like, I got something to tell you, and you just freak them out, and now they scared of your fam.
I'm scared of your fam.
What about chat? You guys want to hear about anything? That delay, though.
I know. I do need to catch up on Critical Role. I've already gotten some spoilers.
I'm super, super duper far behind.
Pallies, War Wizard, Druids.
War Wizard.
Eric's like,
Eric's
please
gonna
read
name
the
all
book
of
to
them.
me.
Yeah.
War Wizard, Axe and Shield, of course.
I know we've got another Druid, D and Dad. Ooh. D and Dad? Am I saying it right? Is there an extra D? No.
Dungeons in Dad.
How many D's in the room, y'all? All right. Okay. Side note. At the beginning of each of these classes in the in Xanathar's guide, it gives you kind of an overview of the class, but specifically looking at roleplay potential. So for wizards, you've got spell books, and it gives you a D6 chart to characterize your spell book. So a couple of options: a tome with pages that are thin sheets of metal, spells etched into them with acid. Another option: long straps of leather on which spells are written, wrapped around a staff for ease of transport.
Cool.
A scorched book ravaged by dragonfire with the script of your spells barely visible on its pages. And so it's all of this is just flavor just to give character to your character. The next section for wizards is ambition. So why are you a wizard? Why did you pursue wizardry? Is it because you will prove that the gods aren't as powerful as folk believe? Is it for immortality because that's the end goal of your studies? Or is it because you'll become the greatest wizard the world has seen in generations?
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Really want to save all the people you care about and stop letting them get hurt. Is there one for that?
I don't think that option's on here, so
It's okay.
I'm gonna have to pick different ambitions. But the book is very clear about saying these are mere suggestions. If you don't like them, you don't have to pick anything. But if you want to pick something else, that's great. It's really cool that the book is very explicit on the fact that it is a mere guide and not a it's not a book of rules. It's a book of suggestions and helpful tips and tricks.
I like the RP stuff a lot because, like, I'm not gonna say I struggled, but I care about the RP a lot and like the character building. So to have more references for that and more ideas,
Yeah.
Because Matt was like awesome and worked with me really closely, but not everybody has that opportunity to like work with their DM that collaboratively.
We had solo sessions so for anybody that hasn't checked out our YouTube, so before we actually got started, we had a session 0 where we rolled characters, and then we started. We wrote backstories. Like each of the players wrote backstories for their characters, and then we had like a session, half, like 0.5, before we got to session 1, where it was just me and the player, and we played through their characters' backstories that led up to the very beginning of session 1. And it was safe and intimate, and basically gave all of the players a chance to get to know their character and figure out how they respond and react in certain situations of stress and emotion, how they solve problems, and just how they think on certain levels. That way, whenever we got into actual session 1, they were more focused on how do I fit together, how do I fit with these other guys, and not so much having to discover themselves.
Right.
As we got into it. That I felt like was I've never done one of those before, like as a player, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that before. It's probably not a new idea, but all of this role play and character building stuff, I think would be super, super helpful for players that don't get that opportunity to do solo sessions, working through a backstory before you get to session 1. Mm-hmm. That way you know who you're playing and you feel good about that. Okay, war magic. A variety of arcane colleges specialize in training wizards for war. The tradition of war magic blends principles of evocation and abjuration rather than specializing in either of those schools. It teaches techniques that empower a caster's spells while also providing methods for wizards to bolster their own defenses. Followers of this tradition are known as war mages. They see their magic as both a weapon and armor, a resource superior to any piece of steel. War mages act fast in battle, using their spells to seize tactical control of a situation. Their spells strike hard, and while their defensive skills foil their opponent's attempts to counterattack. War mages are also adept at turning other spellcasters' magic against them.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so at level 2, you get Arcane Deflection. You have learned to weave your magic to fortify yourself against harm. When you're hit by an attack or you fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to gain a +2 bonus to your AC against that attack or a +4 bonus to that saving throw.
Wow.
Whoa, okay.
That's nice.
So just magic shenanigans to save yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
When you use this feature, you can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, so it's like kind of, okay.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
Yeah. On the rules to remember, it does also... Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Bonus action spells. If you want to cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 bonus action, remember that you can't cast any other spells before or after it on the same turn except for cantrips with a casting time of 1 action. I always homebrewed that rule because it was never clear to me, but I'm thinking about just using this because this is very clear.
That's okay with me because I have some really good cantrips.
That might hurt Desmond a little bit in the campaign just because...
Oh no.
He does. He has a lot of bonus action potential.
Mm-hmm.
So tactical wit. Back to the War Wizard. Starting at 2nd level, your keen ability to assess tactical situations allows you to act quickly in battle. You can give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your intelligence modifier.
That's cool.
What?
Moving fast. Power surge.
Dexterity and intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
That's really strong.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a double bonus.
Yeah, wow.
Power surge. Starting at 6th level, you can store magical energy within yourself to later empower your damaging spells. In its stored form, this energy is called a power surge. You can store a maximum number of power surges equal to your intelligence modifier. Whenever you finish a long rest, your number of power surges resets to 1. Whenever you successfully end a spell with Dispel Magic or Counterspell, you gain 1 power surge as you steal magic from the spell you foiled. So that sounds a little bit like your circlet.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I'm going to just get a handle on that.
There's actually a couple of these classes that sound like the way my homebrew Godstone items work.
That's kind of fun.
Like the item itself works the same way the class does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was like a little hint. But which items?
If you end a short rest with no power surges, you gain 1 power surge. Once per turn, when you deal damage to a creature or object with a wizard spell, you can spend 1 power surge to deal extra force damage to that target. The extra damage equals half your wizard level. Okay, as far as like the information in this section, power surge, I was curious about what it exactly does the whole time. I kind of had wished that it opened with that.
Like, what can I use the power surge for?
Oh,
Right, yeah. Rather than telling me like when I gain and when I lose power surges, tell me why I want them first.
It sounds cool though.
A little nitpicky, but that's okay. What else?
Druid?
Druid. Specifically
Druid
what?
Will you read the titles again for me?
Circle of Dreams.
You got the Circle of Dreams.
I know about that one, but I just wanted to talk about it because it is so cool.
We got
And
the
Circle of the Moon. Was that the other one?
Yeah, so we got Circle of Dreams, Circle of Shepherd, Circle of the Shepherd. Oh, and the art for the Circle of the Shepherd is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like little doggies.
Are they like little Eskimo puppies?
Little white wolves, baby wolves. Circle of the Shepherd, and is that it? There's a whole page and a half on a whole 2.5 pages on beast shapes.
That's Circle of the Moon, right?
Um,
Or no. I guess that would be Shepherd.
yeah. Circle of Dreams and Circle of the Shepherd. Those are the two. Yeah. So which one do you know about? You want to know about Circle of Dreams?
I know that one, but I just really like it, so will you just briefly talk about it?
Yes. Druids who are members of the Circle of Dreams hail from regions that have strong ties to the Feywild and its dreamlike realms. The Druids' guardianship of the natural world makes for a natural alliance between them and good-aligned Fey. These Druids seek to fill the world with dreamy wonder. Their magic mends wounds and brings joy to downcast hearts.
Oh.
Huh. And the realms they protect are gleaming, fruitful places where dream and reality blur together and where the weary can find rest. Except for that last part, it sounds like Tomorrowland, the music fest.
Oh,
where
nice.
dream and reality blur together.
That sounds nice.
Okay, second level, you get Balm of the Summer Court. You become imbued with the blessings of the Summer Court. You are a font of energy that offers respite from injuries. You have a pool of Fey energy represented by a number of D6s equal to your Druid level. As a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 120 feet of you and spend a number of those dice equal to half your Druid level or less. Roll the spent dice and add them together. The target regains a number of hit points equal to that total. The target also gains one temporary hit point per dice spent.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, so it's like non-spell slot healing. The target also... Okay, right. You regain all expended dice when you finish a long rest. So if you're level 4 Balm of the Summer Court Druid, then you have 4 D6s. Then on a bonus action, you can heal one of your friends. For up to 2 of those D6s.
It's like a kind of like a cleric's someone with the pool that you have the pool. And you can
Lay on hands.
Lay on hands.
Yeah.
Just like the most popular, yeah.
I think the yeah, so yeah, it is like that, I think. You can't spend all of your D6s in a single bonus action or in a single heal.
That's nice.
But you can spend half of them, up to half. What else? Do you want another? That was only one thing from that. It does more things than that. And these go on to like 10th and 14th level, but I'm only doing like the lower level stuff that you get more immediately. Hearth of Moonlight and Shadow. At 6th level, home can be wherever you are. Ah.
How sweet.
During
That's
a short
nice.
or long rest, you can invoke the shadowy power of the Gloaming Court. Gloaming.
Mm-hmm.
You say, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is?
It's very like Midsummer Night's Dream to me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I saw that once.
I didn't make it
I was
for
in
it
it.
in high school. Who are you?
What were you?
Puck.
Puck. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say Tuck,
yeah.
but it's Puck. Yeah.
I knew it. That totally fits.
Naturally.
Naturally.
Puck is a fairy, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mischief.
Mischief. Yeah, Mischief Fairy. That's you.
Mischief man.
So the Gloaming Court to help guard your where you're sleeping.
Cool.
At the start of the rest, you touch a point in space. And then you come back to Earth. And an invisible 30-foot radius sphere of magic appears centered on that point. Total cover blocks the sphere. So it's like Hermione in...
7th book.
yeah,
Yeah.
whenever they went camping.
Cool.
While within the sphere, you and your allies gain a +5 bonus to dexterity, stealth, and wisdom perception checks. And any light from open flames in the sphere, a campfire, torches, or the like, are not visible outside it. The sphere vanishes at the end of the rest or when you leave the sphere.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Really
Sleep
cool.
for free.
You know how I feel about night defense time, so I feel like that would be really cool.
It's like a tactical maneuver by like a military. It's night defense time.
It's time for night defense.
Like knights, like armored
Oh,
sword and shield night
Oh.
defense time.
kind of like a night. I'm just saying it's gotten a lot easier since we got alarm.
Yep.
You have to do like a whole thing.
Also, since you've leveled up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I just mean Ren's nighttime anxiety has gotten better.
Okay, what else before we move on? Anything you want to hear about? Did somebody else have something in chat that they wanted to hear?
We've had a little bit of comments about the spirit shaman, sort of. Or no, sorry, I'm reading spirit shaman, but what? Oh, shepherd,
Shepherd.
the druid shepherd option
Yeah.
being a little bit unbalanced, I think.
Unbalanced?
Sorry, Dean, Dad.
Unbalanced how?
Dean, Dad feels like two circles a little bit. Totems feel different than the rest of the class, which I agree with. When I was looking at those two, it felt like
What
totems were-
feels unlike the rest of the class? Sorry, say it again?
totems feel different than the rest of the class.
Oh.
So he's
Oh, the
saying-
spirit totem. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me read this. Starting at second level, you can call forth nature spirits to influence the world around you. As a bonus action, you can magically summon an incorporeal spirit to a point you can see within 60 feet of you. The spirit creates an aura in a 30-foot radius around that point. It counts as neither a creature or an object, though it has a spectral appearance of the creature it represents. So it's like a Patronus.
Oh,
What's up with the Harry Potter references?
I don't know. You're really in it tonight, though.
Usually it's SpongeBob, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Shifted.
As a bonus action, you can move the spirit up to 60 feet to a point you can see. The spirit persists for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated.
And drives away all dementors.
Obviously.
Once
It
you
is
use this
cool.
feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. The effect of the spirit's aura depends on the type of spirit you summon from the options below.
It
So-
just does feel like different than the rest of the class, I guess, is what he was saying, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, totally.
But it's a cool thing. He was talking about giving it to a spirit shaman, which we all know. I'm all about that ghost life.
The bear spirit grants you and your allies its might and endurance. Each creature of your choice in the aura, when the spirit appears, gains temporary hit points equal to 5 plus your druid level. In addition, you and your allies gain advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws while in the aura.
So it's kind of like a buff, like an AoE buff,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
on a point.
Aura
Yeah.
buff, yeah. The hawk does the same thing except wisdom. And you can use your action to grant advantage on an attack roll. There's a unicorn spirit.
What? What? What?
The unicorn spirit lends its protection to those nearby. You and your allies gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit's aura.
Sarah's face.
In addition, if you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to any creature inside or outside, wait, inside or outside the aura?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Like a unicorn, anywhere.
Each creature of your choice in the aura also regain hit points equal to your druid level.
Okay, I feel a little differently now. Sorry, D and Dad. It got me with the unicorn. Unicorn can smooth over a lot of inconsistencies for me, so I feel pretty strongly about that. What if there was an item that just gave you like a unicorn totem like that?
I think there might be.
I'm just saying, what?
Staff of Unicorn Friend.
Friend. Somebody make it. Oh.
Oh my god. Unicorn friend. All right, what else?
Eric said something about paladins.
Eric did say something about paladins. Although to be fair,
Eric asked me to read every class.
yeah.
Just read through the list again, and we'll pick which one sounds the coolest.
Yeah.
Of the paladin class?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I was reading flavor stuff. There's a personal goal, a symbol, a nemesis, a temptation for paladins. Speaking of that, I had
Cool.
the spiciest box of hot wings that I've had in weeks just before stream.
I want some
And
wings.
it looked like I was wearing lipstick. Oath of
That has a nice
Conquest.
color on you.
So there's the Oath of Conquest, the Oath of Redemption. Yes,
Those are the two.
those are the two.
Oh, I see. The temptation was like flavor stuff, like type
Temptation is
building.
it's
Okay.
not the Oath of Temptation.
I thought that's what you were saying.
It's not a sex
Oh.
paladin. It's not a sex
Sex paladin in
It's not a
play
sex
now.
paladin.
You should have totally trademarked that.
I don't know that I want to do that.
Unclothed
fair.
Arcana. Sex paladin.
Oh, that's a cool. Yeah,
Things are getting uncloaked in here.
uncloaked.
Okay, so Oath of Conquest or Oath of Redemption?
Redemption.
Let's do redemption. Yeah,
Sounds like they did something wrong.
or like that they feel bad about. You know,
You want the flavor of it, or do you want to just get into what it does?
flavor,
Flavor.
please.
The Oath of Redemption sets a paladin on a difficult path, one that requires a holy warrior to use violence only as a last resort. Paladins who dedicate themselves to this oath believe that any person can be redeemed and that the path of benevolence and justice is one that anyone can walk.
Oh,
These paladins face evil creatures in the hope of turning their foes to the light, and they slay their enemies only when such a deed will clearly save other lives. Paladins who follow this path are known as redeemers. While redeemers are idealists, they are no fools. Redeemers know that undead, demons, devils, and other supernatural threats can be inherently evil. Against such foes, paladins who swear this oath bring the full wrath of their weapons and spells to bear. Yet the redeemers still pray that one day, even creatures of wickedness will invite their own redemption.
Huh.
it straight up sounds like Desmond.
It does sound like Desmond.
Yeah.
I was excited about the barbarians, but that's pretty Desi.
Yeah.
Oh, Desi. Okay, so the tenets of redemption. The tenets of the oath redemption hold a paladin to a higher standard, or a high standard of peace and justice. Peace. Violence is a weapon of last resort. Diplomacy and understanding are the paths to long-lasting peace. Innocence. All people begin life in an innocent state, and it is their environment or the influence of dark forces that drives them to be evil. By setting the proper example and working to heal the wounds of a deeply flawed world, you can set anyone on a righteous path. Patience. Change takes time. Those who have walked the path of the wicked must be given reminders to keep them honest and true. Once you have planted the seed of righteousness in a creature, you must work day after day to allow that seed to survive and flourish. Wisdom. Your heart and mind must stay clear, for eventually you will be forced to admit defeat. While every creature can be redeemed, some are so far along the path of evil that you have no choice but to end their lives for the greater good. Any such action must be carefully weighed and the consequences fully understood. But once you have made the decision, the follow through with it, knowing your path is just.
Huh.
So that was more flavor. That was not actual abilities. So you've got oath spells, sanctuary, sleep, calm emotions, Pretty
It does sound
staple,
like
pretty staple spell there in our group. Hold person.
Nobody actually has that spell though.
I think you're right. We just reference it often.
We do.
Right.
Counterspell,
we wish
hypnotic
for it.
pattern. Huh?
We wish for it more often than.
Okay, so channel divinity. The channel divinity is at 3rd level. You get the emissary of peace. You can use your channel divinity to augment your presence with divine power. As a bonus action, you grant yourself a +5 bonus to charisma persuasion checks for the next 10 minutes.
That's cool.
You can also rebuke the violent. You can use your channel divinity to rebuke those who would use violence. Immediately after an attacker within 30 feet of you deals damage with an attack against a creature other than you, you can use your reaction to force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the attacker takes radiant damage equal to the damage it just dealt.
Wow.
What?
That's cool.
That seems strong.
On a successful save, it takes half as much damage. So it takes damage either way. That violence just got rebuked.
Oh, that makes me think of Hellish Rebuke. I love that spell.
Except this is like radiant rebuke.
Radiant Rebuke.
At 7th level, you get the aura of the guardian.
I'm sorry, Eric just said he has calm emotions. He just never prepares it.
Why not, dude? You could use that more than you could use any other spell.
No, he doesn't need it. You totally don't need it, Eric. Everybody's very calm.
my God.
Everybody's super chill all the time.
Starting at 7th level, you can shield others from harm at the cost of your own health. Wow. Okay. He's already doing this. When a creature within 10 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to magically take that damage
Wow.
instead of that creature taking it. This feature doesn't transfer any other effects that might accompany the damage, and this damage can't be reduced in any way. Okay, so like Desmond's like damage resistant. Like any damage resistances or immunities
Wouldn't apply?
Yeah, they don't apply.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
Desmond would do that to his own death.
I know.
Right.
That's why I need to be calmed emotionally. That's pretty cool.
Okay. We have a lot more book to cover, guys.
Yeah. Keep going. Getting the good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, that was the good stuff. But
We're going to go to page 61. So this is your life, basically talking more about, so the book goes more into, everything in here is suggestions, and really it's, after this, it's helping you build a character, build a person. It talks about your parents. It talks about your birthplace. And on parents, it has, so you've got human parents, you've got non-human parents, we've got half-elf parents, half-orc parents, tiefling parents, any kind of parents.
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So then you've got your birthplace, number of siblings, and your birth order. Whether it's like a twin, triplet, or quadruplet, you're
Right.
older or you're younger. And so then it goes into tables of like family. And so it's got like a D percentile on all of these tables.
Wow.
Or not all of them, but like on this table. So your family, on a roll of 1, you have none. On a roll of 2, you grew up in an institution such as an asylum. 3, a temple. 4 or 5, an orphanage. And that's interesting because the first 5% of the options, only 5% of the options encompass what I feel like the majority of like D&D
Characters.
characters end up doing. And so that was interesting for me to see that. 6 or 7, a guardian. And then like the most common ones, so 76 to 100, you have a mother and a father. 56 to 75, a single mother or stepmother. 36 to 55, single father or stepfather. And then 26 to 35, adoptive family.
I kind of like how nuanced it is.
So basically the top 75% are either an adoptive family, single father, adoptive family, single parent, or you have both your parents.
What's it say about halfling parents?
It doesn't actually. So, huh.
I think it's cool that it's offering like so many.
Oh, okay. So halfling. So there's no specific on. Okay, so basically the half elf, half orc, and tiefling. It's basically telling you which, like what races your parents are. So on a half elf, one parent was an elf and the other was a human.
Gotcha.
One parent was an elf and the other was a half elf. One parent was a human and the other was a half elf. Or both parents were half elves.
Wow. They're getting down into the weeds.
Like genetics, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
which is cool.
Yeah, this is like...
I wouldn't think of that necessarily.
Man, what was that called in science lab class? Was it just
the table?
Huh?
Is it the table?
The table, yeah. What's the table
Yeah.
called? Where you figured out the color of the beans.
Yeah.
Or the color of the flowers in the...
I know what you're talking about.
Chat, what is it called?
Punnett Square?
Punnett squares,
Yes!
man.
That's what it's called.
Kill with a save.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm telling you, dude, look at this. So, like, I mean, we got tables on tables on tables of, like, just flavor.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. I feel like a lot of new players are going to get inspired. Even if you don't, like, sometimes I don't use tables. I just look at them to, like, get inspired or, like, think of what I could do. Because to a point earlier, a lot of new players probably don't even think that they could do something like that or that would matter later on, but it ends up really mattering.
Yes.
Eventually.
Also, you have class training. Where and why, or why did you become a cleric or a fighter or a wizard?
Right. That's awesome.
Life events. Adventures, arcane matters, boons, crime, punishment, supernatural events, tragedies, war, weird stuff.
Tragedies. Does it say weird stuff?
Yeah.
What's in weird stuff?
So weird stuff that's just happened to you guys, to player characters. You were turned into a toad and remained in that form for 1d4 weeks. Adds nothing to your life. It's just a weird thing that happened to you once.
That's the stuff I love, though. Like, I love that little nuanced stuff.
Can I roll on that table right now?
Yeah. Roll a d12.
Do it.
One.
You were turned into a toad. Okay, roll it again.
7.
Okay. You went insane for 1d6 years and recently regained your sanity.
Dang.
Roll a d6.
1.
1 years.
Wow.
A tick or some other bit of odd behavior might linger. I have this tick where I just pull out my greatsword.
Where am I?
Axon Chill was
Ooh.
saying something about how he has a
Roll an 8.
character.
Roll a what?
Roll a
What was
d12
it?
and roll an 8.
Okay. I did.
A lover of yours was secretly a silver dragon.
That's very Dragonlance of you.
Secretly a dragon.
Huh. I have questions, but I'll leave those.
I don't. I like at face value. Accent Shield, are you saying that your character was 84 and then whenever he like takes a bath, he turns 25? Did I get that right? I'll wait for your confirmation. Because that's pretty cool.
It was like a potion that he made or something.
Yeah.
I thought.
We have racial feats.
That's cool.
Oh, battle. Did I say bath? Oh, whoops.
When he is in bath time.
That's literally what you said. I was like, that's weird. Okay.
Well, it said bath, so I don't know. I
The
thought
shower,
that was
he's like,
fun. Basically, you just like initiate rage by taking a shower real quick. They're both cool. They're both cool, X and Shield. Battle makes more sense, but bath is good too. That's really funny. Reading comprehension. Racial feats?
Racial feats. So
What's half
we
elf?
only have a half elf and humans in our group. For the half elf, you can choose between elven accuracy or prodigy. For humans, you can do prodigy. So elven accuracy, the accuracy of elves is legendary, especially that of elven archers and spellcasters. You have uncanny aim and attacks that rely on precision rather than brute force. You gain the following benefits. Increase your dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20, but I get rid of that as a DM.
Thank you.
Whenever you have advantage on an attack roll, use dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. You can re-roll one of the dice once.
wow.
Whenever you have advantage, yeah.
This is for, did you say human or half elf?
Only for elves or half elves
Elves or half elves? Okay.
can take that. So if you are a half elf, half orc, or human, you can do prodigy. You have a knack for learning new things. You gain the following benefits if you take this. You gain 1 skill proficiency of your choice, 1 tool proficiency of your choice, and fluency in 1 language of your choice.
Oh, I like that.
And the book goes really, really heavy on tool proficiencies. Like there's benefits to having a tool proficiency beyond just being proficient.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool.
The second thing is you choose 1 skill in which you have proficiency. You gain expertise with that skill. So you double your proficiency bonus for any ability check you make with it.
Ooh.
And you can't have double expertise. Okay, I'll go. Oh, there it is.
Sorry, I was fixing this cable. It was underneath my chair.
All right. So that is it for like the player side of things. It's mainly classes, flavor, a huge amount of flavor, and a bit of feats, a bit of feet action, foot action.
I like a good feat.
Sorry. Less of the foot action, more feet action. Hang on. Flavor. It's about flavor.
Nailed it.
Feet flavor. So from there, you've got DM stuff, talking about simultaneous effects, falling, the rate of falling, flying creatures and falling. It's just like helpful rules on all of those things. It can get a little bit. The detail can get a little bit thick going through that stuff. I read it, and it's good if you need to know an answer to those kinds of questions if they come up, but that part was not fun for me to read. Sleep, waking someone. That's good, because that question has come up in our group before.
Mm-hmm.
A sudden loud noise such as yelling, thunder, or a ringing bell awakens someone that is sleeping naturally. Whispers don't disturb sleep unless a sleeper's passive perception is 20 or higher.
Oh, like 21?
That's right. So you and Desmond would be woken up by the slightest peep.
Better be careful, Tave. You're talking to yourself. We're going, no.
And the whispers have to be within 10 feet of the sleeper. So if you're 10 feet away, or 9 feet away, I guess. Hey. It just rings like, huh?
What?
Speech at normal volume awakens a sleeper if the environment is otherwise silent. And the sleeper has a passive wisdom perception score of 15 or higher. And it has to be silent, like no wind, birdsong, crickets, or street sounds. No crickets. So if you're outside, then it's just like...
Can't sleep.
No, you can like you're sleeping, but someone talking at a normal volume is not going to wake you up. It'll take like somebody intentionally waking you up. Rules for going without a long rest. Rules for tying knots. And now we're getting to the fun part, tool proficiencies. So tool proficiencies actually have greater benefits. It reminds me of the benefits that you get from professions in WoW.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just speaking my language.
So what's a tool proficiency that you guys have?
Thieves' tools.
Thieves' tools. Let's take a look at that.
Steve's tools.
Steve's tools. All right, so there's 4 sections on each set of tools. Components, history, investigation, perception, or, okay, hang on.
I don't think I have proficiency with any tools.
And that's because there really hasn't been a huge draw to it before now.
Yeah, like Ren would why I did snag some alchemical equipment that I believe burned to a crisp recently. No, actually it didn't. I still have it. So maybe I'll look into this.
Well, yeah, so maybe you should gain some proficiency in that, and I can tell you what benefits you'd get.
Yes.
So each tool description tells you its components, the skills relevant to it, the special uses, and some sample DCs. Okay, so for Thieves' Tools, the components. Thieves' Tools include a small file, a set of lockpicks, a small mirror mounted on a metal handle, a set of narrow-bladed scissors, and a pair of pliers. Your knowledge of traps grants you insight when answering questions about locations that are renowned for their traps.
Huh.
So,
that seems good.
So you gain a bonus to history.
That's cool.
I really like that it tells you what the tools are.
Yeah.
Because that's always my problem. I'm like, but what am I using? Like, am I
Yeah,
just
what does it look like? Yeah.
bobby pin?
You gain additional insight when looking for traps. Because you have learned a variety of common signs that betray their presence. You know what traps look like. You can also set a trap. Just as you can disable traps, you can also set them. As part of a short rest, you can create a trap using items you have on hand. The total of your check using the tool becomes the DC for someone else's attempt to discover or disable the trap.
Wow.
That's so cool.
The trap deals damage appropriate to the materials used in crafting it, such as poison or a weapon, or damage equal to half the total of your check, whichever the DMs deems appropriate.
I feel like we could use that right now. Tave, learn that right now.
Yeah, let's take a 1 hour short rest.
All right.
Set a trap. All right.
Lay a bunch of
All you
traps.
soldiers in the hallway, hang on.
Hang tight. Yeah. That's pretty cool, though. Like, that adds... I mean, I guess you could sort of always try to do something like that. But again, to the earlier point, seeing that in the book makes you think, like, oh, now there's rules for that. Because sometimes as a player, I wouldn't, like, ask about or think about something like that.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't occur to me, or I'd be like, I don't know if I can even do that.
Right. And
Right.
see, that's what this book is all about, is the whole point of it is to completely free your options and all the things that you think, well, I could probably figure out how to do that in real life by Googling that and,
Lay
just,
trap.
and just doing it. But I don't know how that would work in D&D, so I'm not going to try. It seems like it would be a complicated thing to bring up, and it might slow the game down, so I'm not going to bring it up.
Right.
I can see that happening all the time.
I mean, I have hunting traps. I've just never really
Right.
use them.
Well, because in a stressful situation, if you don't know how something would work, it's not even like, obviously, I feel comfortable in our group bringing things up, but sometimes I'm like, panic. I'm not going to go down that thought process because I don't even know what that would lead to, so I can't think about how that would help me.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep. It's supposed to free your mind.
All about that.
Okay, so alchemist supplies. Components. The alchemist supplies include 2 glass beakers, a metal frame to hold a beaker in place over an open flame, a glass stirring rod, a small mortar and pestle, and a pouch of common alchemical ingredients, including salt, powdered iron, and purified water. Skill. Arcana. Proficiency with alchemist tools or alchemist supplies allows you to unlock more information on arcana checks involving potions and similar materials. Investigation. When you inspect an area for clues, proficiency with an alchemist supplies grants additional insight into any chemicals or other substances that might have been used in the area. So you guys are really, really good about this, about bringing your backstories and your characters' experiences into the thing that you're currently doing. Yo, is that Mel in chat? Yo, Mel. What up, dude?
I thought it might be.
Yeah, Frost.
I don't know, Mel, but I've heard your name many times.
You just made him nervous.
I'm sorry. No, not in a bad way. Just like people.
We talk bad about you, dude.
No, not in a bad way.
Investigation. I just read that. Alchemical crafting. You can use this tool proficiency to create alchemical items. A character can spend money to collect raw materials which weigh 1 pound for every 50 gold pieces spent. The DM, that's me, can allow a character to make a check using the indicated skill with advantage. As part of a long rest, you can use alchemist supplies to make 1 dose of acid, alchemist's fire, antitoxin, oil, perfume, or soap. Hey, Ren, getting up on that soap, though.
Look, first of all, presentation now. Second of all, one time.
For like the first
Monster
half
flew
of...
all over me.
Okay, so for like the first 6 days or something,
No.
Ren stank.
No. It was like the first half a day, and then I took a bath.
Subtract half the value of the created item from the total gold pieces worth of raw materials you are carrying. Yeah. So you can do some activities. You can create a puff of thick smoke.
Ooh.
Or identify a poison at a DC of 10.
Oh, that seems strong.
Identify a substance or start a fire with a DC 15. Or you can neutralize an acid at a DC 20.
That's really cool.
Yeah. There's also brewer's supplies. So let me just read you all of the supplies and stuff so that you can remember what they are. So there's brewer's supplies. You can make beer. Calligrapher's supplies. Carpenter's tools. Cartographer's tools. Cobbler's tools, where you can make peach and apple cobbler. Cook's utensils, that seems redundant. Disguise kit, forgery kit, and gaming set. Glass blower's tools for smoking weed.
We're making bubbles. We make bubbles.
Herbalism kit, right under the...
Perfect.
Also redundant.
Yeah. Jeweller's tools, land and water vehicles. Hang on. That's not a toolkit. You can gain proficiency in land and water vehicles.
Desmond
has water vehicle.
Does he? Desmond, you got that?
He does. He said Des has tool proficiency in navigator's tools and water vehicles, which makes sense because you know.
From his sailor background.
That will be useful one day, I feel like. Oh, navigator's tools coming up. After leatherworker's tools, mason's tools, musical instruments, navigator's tools, painter supplies, poisoner's kit, potter's tools, smith's tools, thieves' tools. We already did that one. Tinker's tools. From Tinker Gun. weaver's tools, woodcarver's tools, and yeah. That's a lot of tools. And all of them have really cool, unique benefits that you get for like doing stuff just in the world.
What about the cartographer?
Cartographer.
Oh, yeah.
Cartographer. Calligrapher.
I like maps.
Cartographer. Components.
Cartographer. They make carts, right?
Huh?
Wagons.
Cartographers make carts.
Yep.
And
This is my cartography.
cartography.
Quill, ink, parchments, a pair of compasses, calipers, and a ruler.
Cool.
I think Dave should get into cartography because he's really good at it.
He remembers maps
Yeah.
with a photographic memory. Then you can just write those down. Arcana, history, religion. You can use your knowledge of maps and locations to unearth more detailed information when you use these skills. For instance, you might spot hidden messages in a map. Dude, you'd be like that one dude from National Treasure.
Oh, Lord of the Rings, you're like the moon.
What's the dude's name? The bee guy. The bees. Sorcerer's Apprentice. Come on, chat, help me out.
I can't help you on this one.
What's his name? The actor.
In National Treasure?
Yes. You guys. I don't know what he is.
Look it up.
Look it up before it breaks your brain.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage, baby. Yeah, Nick Cage, dude. You like Nick Cage. All right. Seeing messages on the Constitution and stuff.
Gotcha.
You can identify when a map was made to determine if geographical features have changed since then, and so forth.
Wow.
Nature. Your familiarity with physical geography makes it easier for you to answer questions or solve issues relating to terrain around you. Survival. Your understanding of geography makes it easier to find paths to civilization, to predict areas where villages or towns might be found, and to avoid becoming lost.
Ooh.
You have studied so many maps that common patterns, such as how trade routes evolve and where settlements arise in relation to geographic locations, are familiar to you.
That's really cool.
That's pretty strong.
That's really strong.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, I want to use my survival instincts as a cartographer and just know where to go from here. So,
Okay, thanks.
I don't want to go anywhere like dangerous or bad, and I just want to get there as quick as possible. Is that cool?
while traveling, you can draw a map as you go in addition to engaging in other activity. Activities. Determine a map's age and origin as a DC 10. Estimate direction and distance to a landmark. Discern that a map is fake. Both of those 15s. And you can fill in a missing part of a map.
That's cool.
Just willy-nilly at a DC 20. You just go in ruining all of like these secret holders. Just like, there you go.
Yeah.
Any tools that anybody wants to know about in?
Does Desmond have like holy tools or? Is there a holy tool?
What you dealing with chicken for, Axe and Shield?
Wait, what?
What? Hang on. Like, you can't just have chickens in your house, though.
I mean, you can if they're your pets. Do they have names?
We disagree right now.
We'll wait for the names of your chickens.
all right. Everybody pause.
Right? If you don't have them,
Wife wanted chickens.
you really want to
Man, that's when you say no.
Oh no, Axe and Shield!
He eats them chickens. All right, Axe and Shield. We all right. We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Eating them chickens.
Okay. That's okay.
Any tools you guys want to know about? People wear Oakleys. People who drive.
Dangerous.
Okay, next section is spell casting. Perceiving a caster at work is the first headline. Second headline, identifying a spell. Third headline, invalid spell targets. It's like Eric freaking read the book before I even got it.
It's like they knew.
Because he literally brought this up last week.
That's so funny. I love this because I'm always asking, like, can I tell what spell they're casting, or like
You
if they're
are
casting magic?
always
Yeah.
like, and I know, and I'm like, yeah, or I don't know.
But you don't, and then I always feel bad.
But there's rules for it now. There's like mechanics, and that's
That makes me
helpful.
happy.
Okay, so perceiving a caster at work. Many spells create obvious effects. Explosions of fire. Excuse me while I pour water into this, and it sounds funny. All right, done. Many spells create obvious effects. Explosions of fire, walls of ice, teleportation, and other things that are like that. Other spells, such as Charm Person, display no visible, audible, or otherwise perceptible sign of their effects, and could easily go unnoticed by someone unaffected by them. As noted in the player's handbook, you normally don't know that a spell has been cast unless the spell produces a noticeable effect. Well, what about the act of casting a spell? Is it
Yeah.
possible for someone to perceive that a spell is being cast in their presence? So imagine you're at a party. Someone is just kind of walking around through the crowd and like, magic over there and a magic over there. Prestidigitation, make a foul smell. To be perceptible, the casting of a spell must involve a verbal, somatic, or material component. The form of a material component doesn't matter for the purposes of perception, whether it's an object specified in the spell's description, a component pouch, or a spellcasting focus.
So wait, it's saying it's impossible to tell if someone is casting a spell in your presence?
No,
No, the opposite.
it
Right.
is. In order for it to be perceptible, it has to involve a somatic, verbal, or material component.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So
Sorry,
somatic,
I thought I heard impossible.
Would be some kind of like.
Right. So verbal is just speaking. Verbal, somatic is the waving of the hands and the fingers.
Yeah.
Dance a
That's why
Rooney
I cast
Dooney.
Magic Missile.
And a material is obviously a material. If the need for a spell's components has been removed by a special ability, such as a sorcerer's subtle spell feature or the innate spellcasting trait possessed by many creatures, the casting of the spell is imperceptible. If an imperceptible casting produces a perceptible effect, it's normally impossible to determine who cast the spell in the absence of other evidence.
So that's just for material, though, right?
That's just if it's if a spell only requires a material component and nothing else, and you use your sorcerer ability, subtle spell, then it's impossible to tell that you cast the spell.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I can't think of any spells that just use
I can't either.
materials, though. Yeah.
Sometimes a character wants to identify a spell that someone else is casting, or always a character wants to identify a spell that someone else is casting, or that was already cast. Man, didn't get my shade.
What shade? Do you wait? What did you say?
I said so the book says sometimes a character wants to identify a spell. I said or always a character wants to identify a spell. To do so, a
just like
character
to
can
know.
use their reaction to identify a spell as it's being cast. Or they can
Wait,
use
what?
an action on their turn to identify a spell.
Use a reaction.
You can use your reaction to identify the spell.
That's good to know because sometimes I don't do that in combat because I'm like, I don't want to use my action to do that. So now I can do that in combat. Sorry.
Right. However, you are using your reaction. So
Yeah.
like your circlet, you wouldn't be able to do that and use your circlet.
Yeah. Noted.
If the character perceived the casting, the spell's effect, or both, the character can make an intelligence arcana check with your action or reaction. The DC equals 15 plus the spell's level. So 15 for cantrips, 16 for level 1, and so
Wow.
on.
That's kind of high.
Difficult to do, yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense, though. I mean,
If the spell is cast as a class spell and the character is a member of that class, the check is made with advantage.
oh,
I see.
Some spells aren't associated with any class when they're cast, such as when a monster uses its innate spell casting trait. So that can happen from time to time.
that's
It's
interesting.
true if a character is opposed to missing charisma. Being able to cast spells doesn't by itself make you adept at deducing exactly what others are doing when they cast their spells.
That's really helpful. All that knowledge.
Yeah, so even if you can cast the spell that the other person is casting, just because of the intricacies of magic and how it works, you don't automatically get to just know what they're doing. It still takes thought and effort to recognize that. Then the book
fair.
goes into helpful grids and graphs for areas of effect. Show you a picture. We're not going to go over that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's suggesting that you use D6s to help you determine area
Oh,
for that kind of stuff.
that's cool. Yeah, because if you don't have like the little doodads like that Matt Mercer used to use to like determine the AoE,
Yep.
that would be really hard.
Do you have those like 3D printed, or did somebody provide those for him or something?
I bet somebody provided them. I don't know for sure though.
Mercer. All right.
Oh, Action Shield makes us AoE templates for spells. So is that what it is, Action Shield? Like the clear things that you
Just a
like
template.
place over it?
I
So it
know,
goes-
like the tabletop game Warhammer has a bunch of those too,
Thing.
but they're probably different sizes, obviously.
That's probably true. The next section is on encounters and challenge ratings. We're going to skip that because, like I said at the beginning of the stream, that's not particularly helpful for our group. And so we're going to skip from page 85 to 113.
Ooh, skipping ahead.
And just as I'm skipping through, it has suggested encounters, like random encounters from environment, like coastal encounters, desert encounters, like tables for all that kind of stuff. So lots and lots of just tables and resources for DMs to use to make things fast and easy.
Oh man, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a good resource. Traps. So this is really exciting.
Uh-oh. For you or for us?
Just in general, because the DMG just does a poor job of giving guidance on traps. I mean, you can come up with your own homebrew stuff, like I did. So the Deadly Dungeon Doors module that one of our friends on Twitter made. He came up with all of his own like homebrew rules for all of these traps, and it was super creative and super well done, and I really enjoyed reading through all of those, but it took a lot of time and effort for him to come up with all that stuff. So for this Xanathar's guide, it gives you how many pages of trap rules?
Man, I'm already all about checking for traps. I don't even want to be like extra on top of it.
10 pages. 10 pages.
Slacking on it.
10 pages of traps and mechanics and how they work.
Wow.
When before it was like a couple of sections,
All right.
like half a page.
Whoa. That like Eric did the trap in our one shot the other night with just the bear traps. We all may recall
Yeah, the
how
bear
that
traps.
went.
Yep.
But I do really love stuff like that. Like
Okay,
put
so
a lot into Matt.
So this is, okay, it has two categories of traps. It used to be mechanical and magical traps in the DMG. Well, now it is no longer mechanical and magical. It's simple and complex traps. And both mechanical and magical can be either simple or complex. So here's the difference. A simple trap activates and is thereafter harmless or easily avoided. So you step on a pressure plate and an axe swings. And then it's done. Or a poison dart fires. Or you fall in a pit. Stuff like that. Or you touch a rune and it explodes. Simple trap. A complex trap activates and is dangerous, but then continues to be dangerous afterwards. So a complex trap would be like, okay, you step into a pressure plate and it activates poison gas. Well, you can deactivate this trap, but the deactivation module or whatever switch or whatever is located like in the middle of the room.
Right.
And to get to it, you have to go through the poison gas and like spend turns going through it. And so it starts dangerous and it continues to be dangerous after it's activated. And there's like multiple tiers and steps to its activation and deactivation. Simple traps. Traps revisited. We've got a bear trap, crossbow trap, falling portcullis, fiery blast. And so, okay, so the descriptions of these traps. So you've got like pages and pages of simple traps here. Can you see that?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Right on. Like a fiery blast, and it has like recommended levels. So levels 5 through 10 is a dangerous threat. It gives you a little bit of like backstory, and that you could just flavor with your own homebrew or whatever world you're playing in. The Temple of Pyramus, a god of fire, is threatened by thieves who seek to steal the fire opals displayed there by the priests in tribute to their god. A mosaic on the floor of the entry to the inner sanctum delivers a fiery rebuke to intruders. So the trigger is anyone who steps on the mosaic causes fire to erupt from it. Those who openly wear holy symbols of Pyramus don't trigger this trap. So that's a cool little nuance. The effect is a 15-foot cube of fire erupts, covering the pressure plate and the area around it. Each creature in the area must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, taking 7d6 fire damage on a failed save for half as much on a successful one. Countermeasures. So this is important. A successful DC 15 Wisdom perception check reveals the presence of ash and faint burn marks in the area affected by this trap. A successful DC 15 Intelligence Religion check enables a creature to destroy the trap by defacing a key rune on the perimeter of the mosaic that is within reach. Failing this check causes the trap to activate. Also, a successful Dispel Magic DC 15 cast on the runes destroys the trap. So basically, and you can change this however you like, but a simple trap is one that has a trigger, an effect, and a single step to deactivate it. One thing to always remember is that it's hard as a DM in the moment to remember, okay, how do characters find clues to a trap? Because you don't want to just unfairly spring a trap on players, because that's not fun, and it's not fun for them, and it doesn't really give any opportunity for success or failure. It just kind of hurts them, and that's not fun. And so, as laid out by the countermeasures here, with a perception check, there were clues, and so if a character just ignores those clues, then fine. But if they key in on those clues and investigate, and make an intelligence check, religion, then they can destroy they can deactivate the trap. The book goes into helping you design your own simple traps. Starting with purpose. What's the purpose of the trap? Is it to alarm like an area? Is it to delay people from like going through an area? Is it to restrain intruders? Is it to slay people? Is it literally just to kill things that intrude?
That's pretty nice.
It helps you determine the level and lethality. So what level are your characters? And how lethal do you want the trap to be? Now, that information is in the DMG to begin with, but it goes back into it here, so they don't have to cross-reference. And then it gives you suggestions on triggers. So a pressure plate, a tripwire, a doorknob, a door or a chest when it's opened. What's that?
You said an angry tweet.
Got some micro triggers working here. I said something really serious on Twitter, and then somebody joked about it, and now I'm mad. Triggered my trap.
Traps the rest of the session.
Activated my trap card.
Okay, so the effects of the trap and disarming a simple trap. And there's there's half a page on disarming a simple trap.
That's so nice, because that can be so daunting, especially for newer DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to set a trap, and then you're like, well, now what do? I have to think of every single thing that could possibly happen, which you would do, but It can just be intimidating.
This guides you through all of that.
Yeah.
Imagine how your trap operates, and then think about how the characters could overcome it. More than one kind of ability check might be possible. Some traps are so poorly concealed that they can be discovered or circumvented without active effort. For instance, a hidden pit trap is effectively disarmed as soon as the characters notice it. After that, they can simply walk around it. Unless you're in England, in which case there has to be a sign that says, watch out. Don't fall in the hole.
Don't fall in the hole.
Otherwise you're violating health and safety regulations. Placing a simple trap, how you place one, context and environment, basically helping you think like, okay, a pit trap doesn't make sense in the city of the cloud people. It just doesn't. No, a hole in the clouds, that makes sense. It's like a death trap, though. Complex traps. Okay, this one's a bit more complex. Pardon me as I laugh at my own joke. So a complex trap poses multiple dangers to adventurers. After a complex trap activates, it remains dangerous round after round until the characters avoid it or disable it. Some complex traps become more dangerous over time as they accumulate power or gain speed.
You got some laughs in chat, man.
Got the...
We got Ways and Jaws.
Got the Jaws, yeah. That's some World of Warcraft shenanigans there. Trap gaining speed, yeah. So action shield. Here you go, brother. We have the Sphere of Crushing Doom. All right.
Can we just roll that one out?
All right, I'm going to read you this complex trap. It's a lot of fun. I read this one earlier. It is a lot of fun. It's basically it's a magic fantasy version of Indiana Jones. All right, the Court Jester. Okay, so like
what?
Flavor and backstory. Yeah, Court Jester. The Court Jester devised a deadly trap to foil anyone who sought to steal his magic fool's cap. The Jester's tomb is located at the end of a 10-foot wide, 150-foot long hot dog hallway that descends sharply from north to south. The entrance to the tomb is a door on the eastern side of the wall at the bottom of the slope, at the south end of the hall. So you're at the top of a slope. The door is at the bottom of the slope, 150 feet that direction, right? Trigger. Trapped by a good trigger. This trap activates as soon as the door leading to the jester's coffin is opened. A magic portal opens at the northern end of the hallway and disgorges an enormous steel sphere, which hurtles down the slope. When it reaches the bottom of the slope, a second portal briefly appears and teleports the sphere back to the top of the slope to begin the process again. So it's like Portal and Portal 2. It's like an immediate, like you put your hand through and then it just kind of goes like, you can kind of go in and out in real time.
That's cool.
It's not like a teleportation. It's like
but...
So, okay, initiative. The trap acts on initiative count 10. But see the dynamic element below. In the book. Yeah. There it is, below. Sphere of Crushing Doom, initiative 10. So the active element, although the trap is complex in nature, it has a single active element. That's all it needs. That's what the book says. That's all it needs.
That's all it needs.
Subclasses.
It's like a four-word sentence. That's all it needs. Okay. A Sphere of Crushing Doom, initiative count 10. The trap's active element is a sphere of steel that almost fills the 10-foot width of the hallway and rolls to the bottom of the slope on its turn. Each creature in the sphere's path must make a DC 20 strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 4d10 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage and is not knocked prone.
A DC 20?
DC 20.
I would literally never make that.
You'd have to roll a 20.
Yeah.
Objects that block the sphere, such as a conjured wall, take maximum damage from this impact. Okay, so the longer it rolls, the more lethal the sphere becomes.
Oh, no.
So it's like, what is it? Inertia. Is that right?
Science.
Friction and chemistry. So there's another bold line here. Speed kills. After its turn, the sphere gains speed. So it goes 150 feet in a single turn. So every turn, like it's going down this slope and just restarting the process.
150 feet?
Yeah.
Oh, so another ball falls out?
No, it's a portal. So it opens at a portal at the top, and it goes down the slope to a portal at the bottom, and the portal just keeps it going, and it does not stop.
Really rough.
Yeah. So after its turn, the sphere gains speed, represented by its damage increasing by 2d10
If
each turn.
Doesn't stop it.
Each turn, yeah. And while its damage is 10d10 or greater, it acts on initiative count 20 and 10. So 2 turns per round. Countermeasures. The trap can be neutralized either by stopping the sphere or preventing it from teleporting.
So I get to dispel magic?
Stopping the sphere is the easiest way to disrupt the trap. A wall of force can do so easily, as can any object placed in its path that has enough hit points to absorb damage from the sphere without being destroyed.
Oh yeah, Cube of Force.
Or you can disrupt the portals. Either portal can be neutralized with 3 successful DC 20 Intelligence Arcana checks. But the process of analyzing a portal to disrupt it takes time. So you pretty much have to do that 3 turns, and after 3 turns, it's going fast.
Wow.
Deadly. Because it starts at 4d10, and on each turn it gains 2d10, and then when it's at 10d10, it goes twice in a round.
Oh no.
Yeah. And these are DC 20 intelligence checks, Arcana. Faint runes in the ceiling and floor at both ends of the hallway are involved in the functioning of the portals. A creature must first use an action to examine a set of runes, then use a subsequent action to attempt to vandalize the runes. Vandalized.
I vandalized the runes. I'm saying that this time.
Each successful check reduces the sphere's damage by 2d10. So that's good. As the disrupted sphere loses speed moving through the failing portal. Alternatively, a set of runes can be dispelled with 3 successful castings of Dispel Magic at a DC 19, targeting any of the runes in the set. If the southern portal is destroyed, the sphere slams into the south wall and comes to a halt. It blocks the door to the tomb, but the characters can escape.
3 dispel magics? That's
3.
Like that's so many spell slots.
That is a number of spell slots there. Dispel magic is not as quite as powerful as what we might have hoped.
Right.
How heavy is the sphere? Well, it is a 10-foot by 10-foot steel ball.
So it would fit in the pit that we created last session.
You throw the pack on the ground.
You could throw a pit in the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a one of the examples.
That's pretty involved. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very complex. And then it goes through, it gives you another example of a complex trap called the Poisoned Tempest. And it's a poison gas trap.
What?
Like I described earlier, where I think it activates and then you have to go into the poison to disable it. So you have to hurt yourself to save yourself. So then the book goes into designing complex traps and guiding you through that. So what's the purpose? What's the level in lethality? Let's be smart about putting it on a map. Complex trap has multiple parts, typically relies on the character's positions to resolve some of its effects, and can bring several effects to bear in each round, is the opening for map. So just thinking about the complexity of like, Eric could probably be thinking of like, i.e. like making monsters, right? So Eric playing RuneScape, you got to go to several different places to do like simple things, but you got to go all over the place to do these things in order to achieve like a simple thing. That would be like a complex trap, and disabling it. Active elements. A complex trap's active elements work the same way as a simple trap's effects, except that a complex trap activates in every round.
That's intense. Every round.
Constant elements. In addition to the active steps a complex trap takes, it should also present a continual hazard. So, like if there was gas in the room, maybe the active... So a gas would be like a constant element. An active element might be that like dart or like spikes in the ground shoot and then reset.
Right.
That does make sense then, I guess.
Dynamic elements. Just as a battle is more interesting if the monsters change their tactics or unveil new abilities in later rounds, so too are complex traps for more fun in their nature. If their nature changes in some way. The whirling blades that protect a treasure chest do more damage each round as they speed up. The poison gas in a room grows thicker as more of it floods into the chamber, dealing greater damage and affecting the line of sight. The necrotic aura around an idol of Demogorgon produces random effects each time its active element is triggered. As water floods into a chamber, the characters must swim across areas they could walk through just a round or two earlier. Advice on triggers. And so pretty much the advice on simple trap triggers applies to complex traps. With one exception, it says. Complex traps have multiple triggers. These are angry little traps. Or designed such that avoiding a trigger prevents intruders from reaching the area the trap guards. Trap guard. It's like a new deodorant.
Trap guard. Guard against traps.
Initiative. A complex trap acts repeatedly. So initiative count 10, initiative count 20, or initiative count 20 and 10. And then defeating complex traps. Yeah. Shutting down one part of a complex trap usually requires multiple successes. And there's almost an entire page on this. So
wow.
It's it's really, really cool, like how much detail they put into into traps and helping you build fun traps that are more than just either you get hurt or you don't.
Yeah.
By the trap.
I've always really liked puzzles in D&D.
Yeah, same. It makes you feel like you accomplished something.
Yep. Better DMs than me have done traps really, really well. I've never really tackled traps, and so now I feel
done traps.
I feel confident to do so.
I feel like you've done traps.
Have I done traps?
You've done some really good traps, yeah. You've definitely done traps. I remember.
I did a couple of puzzles. One was an actual maze.
Man, that maze had me shook though.
I've done a couple of the mastermind puzzles.
The magic puzzle when we had to do the puzzle to get into the tower.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we should have. No, I'll figure it out.
Any questions on traps from chat? Hit those traps, bro. Yeah, I can't ignore them trap muscles. Trapezoids.
Best way to train traps.
All right, so you guys want to talk about best way to train traps? That'll be Eric. That's an Eric question. Yep. Also, best ways to flex. He's your guy. I mean, shrugs, confusion. So you guys want to talk about downtime?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there are how many pages of downtime?
He used all these emojis. I don't understand them.
Um,
Oh, there's a panic basket emoji.
there are 11 pages of downtime.
11 pages?
11 pages of downtime. So
That's pretty rad.
the book starts with rivals. That's more for DMs than players. But basically, it gives you guidance on creating rivals and making them purposeful and fun, helping you figure out their goals, their assets, their plans, and some events in the world that affect the relationship between the party and the rival. And then it gives you a couple of examples of rivals. Marina Rodimus. The Rodimus clan was a small but powerful family of traders in the city, but years ago, they pulled up stakes and left town overnight. Marina Rodimus, the youngest child, has now returned to restore her family's prestige. In truth, the family fled because its members became afflicted by lycanthropy.
Oh.
They joined a clan of were-rats and delved into smuggling in a distant city, out of fear that their secret would be impossible to keep in their former home. After fighting her way to the top of ranks of the were-rat clans, Marina, along with a small army of followers, has returned to claim her place among the elite of her home city. She vows that if she doesn't succeed, she'll leave the city in ruins. That's pretty big talk there, a little weird rat.
Girl.
Yep. Goals. Marina wants to become the most respected, most important merchant in town, someone to whom even the prince of the town must yield. It doesn't say of the town. It's funny.
The town prince.
Marina has a small fortune in gold. Her abilities as a were-rat, alchemist, and necromancer are also in her kit. A group of were-rats dedicated to her, and a shield guardian that protects her. Plans. Marina works to discredit and ruin other merchants. Her were-rat spies... Her were-rats spy on her opponents and sneak into warehouses, unleashing hordes of rats to spoil goods. Marina even victimizes a few of her own warehouses to avoid suspicion. If Marina's plans fail, she has a terrible alternative. Her knowledge of alchemy has enabled her to create a plague that she will unleash on the city through her rats. If she can't rule, then no one will.
Wow.
So that is an example of a rival. And
He seems like a terrible person.
That's
right.
cool, though.
Yeah, totally. Especially if you're doing like a it really just helps you build flavor and character into rather than building an adventure surrounded surrounding a bad guy. Like you guys going to cities can either develop friendships or rivals, depending on who you talk to and how you talk to them, which is one of the cool things about our homebrew. And so some cities that you go to, like you're going to have friends that are going to be good to have, and then others that are are like naturally occurring rivals for you guys, like General Washington.
Yeah.
Is a rival.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, that would be really useful too, though, for like one shots, like when we
Yes.
one shots real quick.
Yes.
I'm always like, okay, that's where I start. Like, who are they? Like, who's the big bad at the end?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be really nice to just pop it open and read through for inspiration, or just pull one out.
Yeah. So and it doesn't really give you. You do still have to come up with all of those things. But it does give you a table on example rivals, and it kind of gives you a bit of guidance here in fleshing those things out. So like you have coming up with goals, assets, plans, actions, and events.
Did you see something about Victor? Did you see something about Victor? I must have missed it, but I saw in chat Axe and Shield said, of course, Victor was not a rival.
No, I think he's talking about just the fact that Victor is a very he's a developed NPC that and just like Gilmore's Glorious Goods, Gilmore is a developed NPC that has his own initiatives, his own goals, assets, plans.
I just heard Victor. I got excited. Fave.
Okay, so downtime activities, the stuff that you guys actually care about. Example downtime activities, buying a magic item. It gives you a process for buying a magic item.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not just I go to the shop.
I know you've kind of done some homebrew, magic item building.
Yeah. We've built a couple of homebrew magic item things, but as far as like the scenario, Nevin is a very magical place. But as far as like, okay, I want to buy a magic item that's like a +1 sword, right? It's that kind of stuff that I have a hard time with. Like, okay, where can you buy those at? Where can you get those?
Where would that be? Yeah.
It made sense for the elves to have those kinds of things and for you guys to get sponsored by that. And so that was a bit easier for me. But other than that, it's been a bit difficult for me to come up with that kind of stuff. And so purchasing a magic item requires time and money to seek out and contact people willing to sell items. Even then, there is no guarantee a seller will have the items a character desires. Resources. Finding a magic item to purchase requires at least one work week of effort and 100 gold in expenses. Spending more time and money increases your chance of finding a high-quality item. So basically, you go on a hunt to find the item that you're looking for.
This is to find, not to like craft.
To find someone that has this.
Right.
So you're paying somebody for information like, I need you to go in, you, courier, I need you to go around the city looking for this. I need you to go around the city looking for this. And bring those informations to me. And that just takes time, and you have to pay them to do it, and you have to pay for their food, and just it's expensive.
That's intense. I don't know if I would ever take a week to
Right. A week in Nevin.
Yeah, so far we've been moving pretty quickly as far as like day to day. I tried to slow that down a bit in Shinova, and I think we're gonna.
We could have in Shinova.
I think we're gonna continue that trend, where the time that you guys spend in places is more, typically, than less, rather than less.
Well, we were rushed. I mean, we were kind of like gotta get out of Tafaris for the moment situation, so it made sense.
So the resolution of this hunt, a character seeking to buy a magic item makes a charisma persuasion check to determine the quality of the seller found. The character gains a +1 bonus on the check for every work week beyond the first that is spent seeking a seller, and a +1 bonus for every additional 100 gold spent on the search, up to a maximum bonus of +10. The monetary cost includes a wealthy lifestyle. For a buyer must impress potential business partners. Like a gold level noble trader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get that fancy gold pen. We're in the club.
So that is, that's the gist of that. You have final say in determining which items are for sale and their final price, no matter what the tables say. If the characters, you, the DM, if the characters seek a specific magic item, first decide if it's an item you want to allow in your game. If so, include the desired item among the items for sale on a check of 10 or higher if the item is common, 15 or higher if it's uncommon, 20 if it's rare, 25, very rare, 30, legendary.
I kind of had no idea that they were going to include this kind of stuff. Like, I knew generally what the guide was, but I'm like surprised in a very pleasant way that they're including things like this.
Oh yeah. Very very helpful on that scale there, and it includes a magic item price chart. That's a bit more helpful than just like 50 gold for a common item. It's 1d6 +1 times 10 gold for a common item.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I panic about stuff like that. And by panic, I mean make it up. But that's really nice to... Because then it's hard to be consistent when you're just like, I don't know.
You can also include some complications in the hunt for this magic item. Because of large sums of money involved and power offered by magic items, this can attract thieves, con artists, and other villains. If you want to make things more interesting for the characters, roll on the magic item purchase complications table. Or invent your own complications.
Complications.
If you roll a 1 on the d12, the item is fake and it's planted by the enemy.
Aww.
So thanks for spending your 1,000 gold to find the item. It's not real.
No.
I would that would need to be like used sparingly, I feel like.
I think if you knew that it was a risky situation and it was sort of like you hadn't done your research and it was
environment would have a lot to do with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, where are you searching for the item? Are you in Shinova? Are you in Arcarium? Or are you in Taveras?
Yeah.
If you're in Taveras, you may.
Right. Somebody might be trying to scam you.
Thanks for the item. Wait here while I double check.
Right.
Just don't go anywhere.
You can do some carousing.
Oh, I remember reading this. They did like a little baby release under Unearthed Arcana, I thought, maybe? I've read this somewhere before.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Carousing is a default downtime activity for many characters. Between adventurers, who doesn't want to relax with a few drinks and a group of friends at a tavern? So basically, if you say, okay, you have 3 or 4 weeks to do whatever you want. Somebody says, I want to find a magic item. Somebody says, I want to work. Somebody says, I want to do something else. If somebody says, I don't know, I don't really want to do anything, the default is carousing.
Nice.
They're just going to eat, drink, and be merry.
Aha.
And so to eat, drink, and be merry, It covers a work week of fine food, strong drink, and socializing. Wow. Okay, so usually, like a week long Saturday night.
Right.
A character can attempt to carouse among lower, middle, or upper class folk. A character can carouse with lower class for 10 gold pieces to cover expenses, 50 gold pieces for the middle class, or 250 for the local nobility.
Did you say you had to roll for it?
No, you just go and do. But I think it does increase with difficulty. Like it gives you kind of guidelines here. The character makes a charisma persuasion check using the carousing table. And then you get like either hostile contacts or allies or yeah. And
that's cool.
Or none at all.
Kind of cool, yeah.
Lower class carousing complications, middle class carousing complications, upper class carousing complications.
What does an upper class carousing complication entail?
You bump into someone, they spill their drink, and they say, "I say."
That's it?
Why I never.
A pushy noble family wants to marry off one of their scions to you.
I mean, that happens, you know.
You spent an additional 500 gold trying to impress people.
Oh, no.
That's dark. Like
Drinks on me, guys. Cool.
And the other
We friends now? No. Oh. All right, maybe another round then. Okay, and it's more stuff like that. You have agreed to take on a noble's debts. It's like Monopoly. You get like community chest and chance cards in Monopoly.
You got swindled.
You guys want to talk about crafting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to pass a little more time between stuff. You know?
Yes.
I think that's cool, and then we can do it like weeks at a time. I think that's neat.
Because with this utility, with this book, I can help guide you more on, because obviously there are things that you want to do, but I find that oftentimes it's like, well, what are my options? Give me some options. Mm-hmm. What can I do? I want to do things. I just don't know what. Like, give me some parameters to work in, and I'm at a loss of like, well, the city has these things available in it. Maybe explore those, and that has worked so far.
Yeah.
But to go and like have some guidelines on actively doing these things is really, really cool. And for you guys to know that I have this is great, because then you can prompt me of like, I would like to initiate some carousing.
Initiate carousing.
Exactly.
Okay. Crafting an item, and you can craft magic items. So one of my like major beefs with with the DMG is that it assumes that all magic items are like of ancient origin, and that the technology and the knowledge to craft magic items no longer exists. Like, you can't do it anymore because it's, it's the third age, and this stuff is of the first age, I hate that. I mean, it's cool. It's cool for some things, like ancient, like legendary items. Cool. Very cool. There's a story behind that. But for like little practical things, that doesn't make any sense, It doesn't make any sense that we have 1,000-year-old robe of useful items.
Right.
Why can't somebody just make one of those? And so that I homebrewed Nevin to work in a way that people just make stuff all the time, like little common practical magic items.
Hairbrushes,
brooms, pots and pans, and just little things, that little knickknacks and paddywhacks that people want and need. Lamps. Forever. Yeah, Desmond made a lamp. And one of the cool things is this book does all of that stuff, and and it's cool because even though I'm already doing this in Nevin, this gives me a bit more structure to the because right now it exists, it works, it's there, but it's all a little bit thought cloudy, and it's just up here, but now it's here and laid out and organized. So this is really cool to have. So first, it starts out with crafting non-magical items, and it starts with things like using an herbalism kit, leatherworker's tools, smith's tools, or weaver's tools. So a character who has the time, the money, and the needed tools to use downtime to craft armor, weapons, clothing, or other kinds of non-magical gear can craft items. So resources and resolution. In addition to the appropriate tools for the item to be crafted, a character needs raw materials worth half of the item's selling cost to determine how many work weeks it takes to create an item. Divide its gold piece cost by 50. So if something costs 50,
it's 1 week.
Then it's 1 week.
Does it talk about like enchanting at all?
I think it will.
So it would cost 25 gold worth of materials, and it would take a whole week to.
That's right.
Cool.
A character can complete multiple items in a work week if the item's combined cost is 50 gold piece or lower. Items that cost more than 50 gold pieces can be completed over longer periods of time as long as the work in progress is stored in a safe location. Multiple characters can combine their efforts, divide the time needed to create an item by a number of characters working on it. So if you have employees.
Or friends.
Or friends, yes.
Or a friendly unicorn.
Where's my crafting unicorn, Matt? That's what
Assemble the crafting unicorn. User judgment when determining how many characters can collaborate on an item. I would like 12 people working on my sword.
I needed to post haste.
12 hammers.
A particularly tiny item like a ring might allow only 1 or 2 workers, whereas a large complex item might allow 4 or more workers. Like a pyramid. A character needs to be proficient with the tools needed to craft an item and have access to the appropriate equipment. Everyone who collaborates needs to have the appropriate tool proficiency. So back to the tool proficiencies again. So we have reasons to have those. Everyone who collaborates needs to have an appropriate tool efficiency. I just read that. You need to make any judgment calls regarding whether a character has the correct equipment. The following tables provide some examples.
This is really cool.
Yep. Okay, so crafting magic items. Creating a magic item requires more than just time, effort, and materials. It is a long-term process that involves 1 or more adventures to track down rare materials and the lore needed to create the item. Potions of healing and spell scrolls are exceptions to the following rules. Potions of healing and spell scrolls are very common in Nevin. They're all over the place.
They are.
For more information, see Brewing Potions of Healing later in this section and the Scribing a Spell Scroll section below.
Oh, you can write spell scrolls.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've never understood why people just couldn't do that. Like, where do these spell scrolls come from? Surely they're not 1,000 years old. Somebody's writing these.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody is.
And that is the case in Nevin, but I just never had rules for it.
Right.
So it's really, really nice. To start with, a character needs a formula for a magic item. Formioli. Ravioli. There it is. Back to SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
we
getting out of Harry Potter, going to SpongeBob. The formula is like a recipe. It lists the materials needed and the steps required to make the item. An item invariably requires an exotic material to complete it. This material can range from the skin of a yeti to a vial of water taken from a whirlpool on the elemental plane of water. Finding that material should take place as part of an adventure. I disagree with that. I mean, it could be. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Right.
I think you should also be able to buy those things.
Yeah.
Because somebody else can spend their time and go do that while you do more important things, and you can just pay money, and that's how they make their living, is they go and gather
Yeah.
these exotic materials. The magic item ingredients table suggests the challenge rating of a creature that the characters need to face to acquire the materials for an item. Note that facing a creature does not necessarily mean that the characters must collect items from its corpse. Murder hobos. Rather, the creature might guard a location or resource that the characters need access to. Interesting. Okay, so magic item crafting time and cost. Common, 1 work week, cost 50 gold. And then so uncommon, 2 work weeks, 200 gold.
Do they have an example of like an uncommon magic item? Well, I mean, there's a whole list, I guess.
Mm-hmm. In the DMG, there would be, yeah.
What if you wanted to make something up? Would that just be like, do they talk about that at all? Or
That'd be up to the DM what level of rarity it would be, I guess.
Yeah, so you want to homebrew your own magic item?
yeah, like what if you wanted to try to homebrew your own?
Depends on what it did. So if it was like a...
Oh, the DMG talks about that.
Yeah. So if you... So, like, give me an example. Like,
I was just curious. Like, well, with the lamp that Eric or Desmond made, so that was kind of like something that already existed and something that already existed, and so he like combined them.
Right. So I would say that that would be a common wondrous item.
I mean, you know how I feel about magic items.
Hair gel. Man, you got that Johnny Bravo swag going on there, Axe and Shield. A rare item crafting takes 10 work weeks and 2,000 gold. Legendary crafting takes 50 work weeks and 100,000 gold.
Wow.
I mean, I guess if you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to outsource this and go do adventure stuff and come back.
Yeah.
Right.
So 50
seems-
work weeks, that's a year if you take
Yeah.
2 weeks vacation.
It's a lot.
But if you have two people working on it, it's just 6 months.
It's halved, yeah. 100,000 gold. In perspective, that's only 10 Daystone crystals. So
That's so many.
you guys had that in your possession at one
We
point.
literally had that in our hand.
100,000 gold.
Yeah.
And for it, you got the help of a dragon.
Worth. Oh, don't talk about it.
Spoilers.
No, I'm like
also,
nervous.
I don't know where he is now.
Stop.
Right. Don't know where he is.
He's fine.
He is dead, though?
No.
Okay, potion of healing creation. A potion of healing takes 1 day to make and 25 gold.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah. Brewing potions of healing falls into a special category for item crafting, separate from other magic items. A character who has proficiency with the herbalism kit can create these potions. The times and costs for doing so are summarized in this table here. Supreme healing takes 4 weeks and 10,000 gold. So that's the bottom and the top there.
Dang.
That's good to know, though. What do we need? Like some sort of herbalism kit situation?
Yes, and you need proficiency in the herbalism kit. Crime. Sometimes it pays to be bad. The book says. Thus saith the D&D book.
You heard it here first. So that's good.
This activity gives a character the chance to make some extra cash at the risk of arrest. So here we go. We're playing Morrowind now.
Now it's getting real. Oh, can't talk about that.
Yeah, like go into a house, loot it, sell its contents to the owner, kill the owner, loot the owner.
Go into the house, steal the house, fill it with magic goods that you just look at.
A character must spend one week and at least 25 gold gathering information on potential targets before committing the intended crime.
Wow, this is like serious.
Yeah, like you don't just go like criming. You gotta,
I mean,
you gotta do a smart.
you could, but you would probably not do very well.
The character must make a series of checks with the DC for all the checks chosen by the character according to the amount of profit sought from the crime. So the DC can be 10, 15, 20, or 25. So loot value. If the DC is 10, 50 gold pieces of robbery from a struggling merchant. So the dude's just trying to pay his family, cover his expenses, and keep his dream alive. And you can take 50 gold from him.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
DC 10. So basically, you show up at my house and you take 50 of my golds.
No.
I'm just trying to keep the dream alive, and you took 50 of them.
Can I add my stealth modifier?
Literally, Kill's already rolling for it.
To attempt a crime, the character makes 3 checks: dexterity, stealth, dexterity
Stop
using
it.
thieves' tools, and the player's choice of intelligence, investigation, wisdom, perception, or charisma, deception.
Ah, that's cool.
If none of the checks are successful, the character is caught and jailed.
Oof.
The character must pay a fine equal to the profit the crime would have earned and must spend 1 week in jail for each 25 gold pieces of the fine.
Dang.
Wow.
So 2 weeks for the DC 10.
That's right.
So like a DC 15, 100 gold pieces is your reward for the robbery of a prosperous merchant. 200 for the robbery of a noble, 1,000 for the robbery of one of the richest figures in town.
So, how long will Tave go to jail if anyone ever figures out that he murdered someone?
Murder. Show me murder.
Tell me about murder. He's not going to go to jail because we're
It's a little more complicated.
We'll protect him.
I guess. But
Oh, the complication. There's crime complicated. There's complications to all these like crimes and stuff. I love these complication charts.
yeah.
Oh man, when you stole 50 gold pieces, robbing the struggling merchant, if you roll a 3, then your victim is financially ruined by your crime.
Oh no.
Oh man, he and all of his family dies because he took his 50 gold. Man. Time to reflect on yourself.
I'm glad they're putting that in there so it's not just like freebie. Like, or you could just
there's some
do crime.
good complications in here though. Like some like challenging complications. Your victim asks one of your adventuring companions to solve the crime. How could you DM that? I feel like that would be very fun for me.
Well, it's pretty unlikely that
One of my favorite things is like challenging your morals and ethics and giving you like gray areas to frustrate you.
it is,
Make
but
you
I don't think any of like our characters would be want to like do that.
I mean, how could you do that? How could you do such a
How
thing?
could you do such a
Well,
thing?
you know, Action Shield, I'm a pretty terrible person, so it's like
No.
so it's like it's almost like it's like a reflex, you know, you just it's like a muscle. You just got to work that muscle out, and you know, and it's real strong.
Not all stories are fun, unfortunately.
I don't know about murder.
To answer your question, Kale, I don't know about murder.
But there is some pit fighting. So some like underground murder that people are egging you on to do. Pit fighting results table. 0 successes is you lose your butts. You lose your bouts.
You lose your butts.
And you earn nothing. So pit fighting includes boxing, wrestling, and other non-lethal forms of combat. So there's no murder crimes.
That'd be cool.
So
Taylor, you want a fight club?
Yeah. How many? Were you asking what the bounty would be, or the weeks in jail?
Weeks in jail, like how? What? Well, I mean, I guess both.
I guess I would have to come up with the crime instead. So the only crime offered here is stealing, and so if the crime was somebody's paying you for a hit, and not of weed,
right?
Then I would have to come up with like another chart, like based on this one, because ending somebody's life that's like a high profile thing,
right?
And so I might just multiply all this by 10. And so to kill a struggling merchant, you would earn 500 gold. But then if you were caught, then you would spend 20 weeks in jail.
Right.
I mean, yeah. That's hard.
A D100. That would be interesting.
20 weeks in jail. You'd miss your birthday. Most likely.
Ren's birthday's coming up real quick.
Yep. Hopefully you guys are alive for that one.
Yeah.
Relaxation is another thing you can do. It's funny how our conversation's going and the things that just kind of naturally come up in the book. Resources for relaxation. It requires a week, and a character needs to maintain at least a modest lifestyle while relaxing to gain the benefit of the activity.
That sounds nice.
You gain several benefits while relaxing. You gain advantage on saving throws to recover from long-acting diseases and poisons.
Wow.
At the end of the week, a character can end one effect that keeps the character from regaining hit points. Or can restore one ability score that has been reduced to less than its normal value.
That's cool.
Yeah. This benefit cannot be used if the harmful effect was caused by a spell or some other magical effect with an ongoing duration, which is usually the case.
Right.
Yeah. If you got like a broke leg, though,
yeah,
you can fix that without going to a priest. Religious service. Characters with a religious bent. That's a funny way to say that. Characters that are religiously bent. Characters with a religious bent might want to spend downtime in service or in service to a temple, either by attending rites or by proselytizing in the community.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
Vocab word.
Excellently pronounced. Someone who undertakes this activity has a chance of winning the favor of the temple's leaders. So you guys probably wouldn't want to do this in our homebrew because the major religion is to Asmodeus.
Yeah.
And you guys know that he is a bad guy.
Yes.
Research. You can do research. And you can learn pieces of lore. What are lore? I mean, I know what lore are. Lore is. Lorax. The character declares the focus of the research, a specific person, place, or thing. So at the end of the week, I give you details on things you want to know about. Questions you have.
Interesting.
So suddenly I have to be ready for these things. Because there are a number of things of intrigue. I feel like that you guys were like, okay, we're just going to take a couple weeks.
Ren's going to do some research now.
Okay, here we go.
On the list.
And so it's got a table for research outcomes, ranging from no effect to learning 3 pieces of lore.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm very happy about that. I'm going to put a star next to that.
You do have to spend some gold. And you got to spend. It's an intelligence check, so Ren is going to be dadgum good at this.
Right.
So ready.
Yeah. If you have access to a well-stocked library or knowledgeable sages, you can gain advantage. So using the resources wisely, you can really affect your overall outcome out of this. For a monster or an NPC, you can reveal elements of statistics or personality. So if you guys are like, oh, we have to go fight a dragon? Okay. Well, let's research that real quick before we go and do that. And so you can spend a week or two learning about it before just like going off and risking it.
That sounds great. That makes my heart very happy.
Right. So you can take your time on stuff because what I feel like we often see, not only in our own campaign, but especially in campaigns that we watch online, is that adventure parties will be talking to an NPC. They'll get a quest and they'll say, what can you tell me that will help me on the quest? And the NPC will offer some information, but doesn't have all of the information, inevitably. And that's the only way for the narrative to be compelling. And then the characters glean as much as they can, and then they're like, okay, well, if that's all you can help us with,
guess we'll go.
Then we'll go now.
Yeah.
And this whole section essentially says, okay, you are free to not do that. You can go and do as you please. Do the adventure, yes, but do it in the way that you would like to.
I like that. I feel like that helps with like issues around metagaming too, because there's sometimes that I'm like, I mean, I don't know, like I feel a certain way, but Ren may or may not know. So it would be nice to just be like, what does Ren know? Like, what has Ren learned without doing a check? Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. Research, fam.
Okay, so we are to the scribing a spell scroll chart section. Scribing a spell scroll. It takes an amount of time and money related to the level of the spell the character wants to scribe. Character must have proficiency in the Arcana skill and provide any material components required for the casting of the spell. The character must have the spell prepared, or it must be among the character's known spells in order to scribe a scroll of that spell. If it's a cantrip, the version of the scroll works as if the caster were first level. So no, like, multiple damage die on cantrips. Interesting. So a cantrip, 1 day, 15 gold. Second level spell, 3 days, 250 gold. Fourth level spell, 2 work weeks, 2,500 gold. So first level spell, I skipped that one in third level. First level spell, 1 day, 25 gold. Second level, 3 days, 250 gold. Third level, 1 work week, 500 gold. Fourth, 2 work weeks, 2,500 gold, and so forth. To 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks, and it just doubles from there until 9th level is 48 work weeks for 1 spell scroll and 250,000 gold.
Wow.
Dang. And you still have to roll to use a spell scroll.
To learn it, yeah.
To use it or learn
yes.
it, right?
To use it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Spell scroll or scribing a scroll complications. Oh, these are fun.
No, they're not. I already don't think they're fun. Like in trying to make the spell.
Due to a strange error in creating the scroll, it is instead a random spell of the same level.
Oh, wow.
That would be frustrating.
Or, well, I mean, if it was like a lower level one, I feel like that'd be kind of funny. But
You're trying to make a spell scroll for Wish, and you get like
that would be
Something else.
real.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get something
Yeah.
else. Like, I mean, it's funny if it's like a first level spell. And so you tried to make, I don't know, what's a first level spell?
light. No.
No, that's
That's
a
a
cantrip.
cantrip. Burning Hands?
Burning Hands.
Yeah.
And instead you make, what's another first level spell?
There's no spell that you could get that I wouldn't want, so I'm not a good judge.
What is Misty Step? That's the second level spell, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Misty Step and Shatter, right? So you're trying to make Shatter, but instead do Misty Step. Okay, cool, but like you need a
That's
Shatter.
all.
You know?
Yeah.
And do you know that it's Misty Step before you use it, or do you like go and try to use it for Shatter,
Oh,
and then you just like disappear?
that's interesting.
It doesn't specify that, so that's a good point.
It's like, wow, magic.
I mean, I
like
guess
the
you could
spell
roll
scrolls.
Arcana and to check to see what kind of spell scroll it is.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that immediately. It'd be one of those things where you have to you have to, rest your eyes, put it down, walk away, and come back to it.
Right.
And then you pick it up and you're like, "What did I write?" What?
That's gonna happen to Ren. I know it.
Selling a magic item is also on here. Selling a magic item is by no means an easy task. Con artists and thieves are always looking on the lookout for easy score, and there's no guarantee that a character will receive a good offer, even if a legitimate buyer is found. If you spend a work week in 25 gold, you can spread word for the desired sale, so you can market yourself. A character must pick one item at a time to sell. Forget that. That's lame. You can have multiple marketing campaigns.
Especially for like Nevin, where there's this whole like merchant system built
Yeah,
up.
I mean, okay, so you go and get, go and hire multiple shouters and like sign spinners or whatever.
Yeah.
Yo, magic items!
What if you could get the sign to spin all on its own?
That was the magic item.
Oh.
Selling magic sign spinning signs for sign spinners. Character must make a charisma persuasion check to determine what kind of offer comes in.
This is pretty intense. Like it's
So check total, you roll a d20, and based on the result, a 1 to 10, 11 to 20, or 21 plus, it gives you a percentage of the base price. And it has a chart here of base prices. So common 100 gold, uncommon 400 gold, rare 4,000, very rare 40,000, legendary 200,000. And halved for consumable items like potions or scrolls. And you can do training as well, and you can do work and make wages.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for work.
I like all of this a lot, and I feel like it adds a lot of depth and like sort of everyday, like for breaks and stuff like that, when we're like, hey, we're in a city, now what?
Yep. Loitering.
Yeah. It's just a lot. Like I would definitely not want to like over do all of it and make it feel like mundane life, That makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I mean, okay, so Tave will be excited about this. You can use athletics, your strength athletics, your dexterity acrobatics to work, like labor and stuff.
That's cool.
You can use your intelligence to use a set of tools. Charisma performance or charisma using a musical instrument. And then you roll a check, and then you make money.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Tave has pretty high acrobatic score.
Yeah. And basically, working pays for your. Okay, so if you say, instead of carousing by default, I would rather just go a week and not gain or lose anything, and not do anything like productive in like a advancing myself or any of that kind of way. You can go to work instead and just have like a free week of, spent time. Which, if you think about that, that's a little depressing if you apply that to real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we go to work to just pass time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody roll a d20, universe, and then you can just have like a modest lifestyle for the week. And then you can try again next week if you want. And not really do anything of any kind of importance. Wow.
All right, we're
Welcome to
stopping
Dungeons and Dragons.
That was dark.
Yeah.
But also very real. Dang. Dang.
It's just us left.
On stream? Yeah. It's getting late.
At late night.
I've really enjoyed the community aspect of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to see
Colby here.
Kobe her. I'm Kobe. I think definitely like sessions and one shots and stuff will draw a lot too.
Yeah. So awarding magic items, I don't pay attention to that. I do what I want. Common magic items. And so, okay, so some of the magic items that I just came up with on the fly, like the practical kind of things, those things are now here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just saw that there's an item called the Candle of the Deep.
The Candle of the Deep?
Yeah.
What is that?
A flame of this candle is not extinguished when immersed in water. It gives off light and heat like a normal candle.
That's crazy. Desmond needs one of those.
Yeah, I want him to have one.
Let's see. There's cast off armor. It's a common item. You can doff this armor as an action. Basically like Bruce Almighty when he just with his clothes.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Like for a disguise, maybe.
I use that GIF probably more often than I should.
Probably, yeah.
Cloak of many fashions. While wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to change the style, color, or apparent quality of the garment. You guys have those?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cloak of billowing.
Colby asks, what happened to Thomar? Is he still in Nevin?
We haven't discovered that yet, brother.
Spoilers.
We don't know. We know where Roscoe is. We found Roscoe.
Yeah, we found Roscoe. We have heard, we've caught wind of where Bishop is.
But have not met him either.
We have not met him either, though. We have met and hung out with Roscoe. In Tavares. There's a cloak of billowing. While wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to make it billow dramatically.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Clothes of mending. This elegant outfit of traveler's clothes magically mends itself to counteract daily wear and tear. Pieces of the outfit that are destroyed can't be repaired in this way.
Well,
you can cast mending and...
Yeah. I mean, I could just mend my clothes. Yeah. But they do it for you.
Mm-hmm. It's like a magic hairbrush that just magically brushes your hair always.
And still looks like kind of a popper a little bit. No, she doesn't. She's just, she's always getting lit on fire and stuff.
Wait, you do have a scar, don't you? Like a minor scar on your face.
It's a little one. No, on like my neck.
Oh, okay.
It's little.
Close to the face area.
Burn.
but like on my neck. Let's just be clear.
Neck face.
Like, you know, a little concealer and you're good.
A little concealer, a whole lot of turtleneck.
Ren doesn't care.
Yeah, and there's pages of these, like just common items that are cool. Staff of Flowers. The wooden staff has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge from the staff and cause a flower to sprout from the patch of earth or soil within 5 feet of you. Or from the staff itself.
That's really cool.
That's so cool. Would they say like blooming forever?
The flower is harmless and non-magical, and it grows and withers as a normal flower would.
Oh, they think of everything. They think of everything. That's cool.
Gotcha.
The staff regains 1d6 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the staff turns into flower petals and is lost forever.
So
Dang.
pretty. I feel like that would be okay. It would be like a, well, no spoilers.
Unbreakable arrow. This arrow can't be broken except when it is within an anti-magic field.
That's cool.
Wait, so like he could just have like shoot the same arrow over and over again?
Yeah.
But you'd have to go like.
You have to go pick it up.
Yeah.
It's like playing catch with yourself.
It would be bad for me because I have no aim. I'd be like, where'd it go?
Sir, I gotta pick up my 1 arrow.
Oh, duh. Yeah. Like running across the field.
Whoa! There's some walloping ammunition.
Ooh.
This ammunition packs a wallop. A creature
love
hit
the
by the ammunition must succeed on a DC 10 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Wow.
Get walloped, bruh.
Yeah, well, bruh. That's pretty crazy.
Tankard of Sobriety. This
sounds
tankard
bad.
has a stern face sculpted into one side. You can drink an ale, wine, or any other non-magical alcoholic beverage poured into it without being inebriated.
That's really cool.
Oh, that would be so cool for like a trick. You
The
could like
tankard
trick
has
people
no
to thinking-
effect on magical liquids or harmful substances such as poison.
That would be so cool if you were like trying to like win a drinking contest or
yeah.
like trick somebody.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. Like I really like items like that are like homebrewed. I feel like there's kind of a special aspect to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I do think it's cool like for inspiring people, especially new DMs, because like it's intimidating to make your own items.
Right, because what if you mess up the game? That is always the concern for new DMs. What if I mess up the game?
Yeah.
There's this complicated game with these books, and there's so many words in them, and what if I mess them up? What if I mess up these words, you know? And that is always the fear. And man, the Xanathar's Guide just really, really gives you a whole lot of freedom to be like, dude, you can just do whatever you want, you know? And it's going to be fine. As long as it's fun, you know, for yourself and for the people that you're playing with,
Then you get
knock yourself out, you know?
Yeah.
Go have fun.
like
If you
it.
make your characters too powerful, throw more monsters at them.
Yeah.
That's fine. So you messed up and gave them too many magic items. Did you mess up really? No, just adjust. And
Is it messing up or is it the most amazing?
that's right. You know, we purposefully made you guys superheroes. And that was so that we can have more fun later.
I literally, yeah, I can't wait.
Wand of Smiles.
What's
This
that?
one has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and target a humanoid you can see within 30 feet of you. The target must succeed a DC 10 charisma saving throw or be forced to smile for 1 minute. I feel like that's misogynistic, just a little bit.
Why?
Just
Did I
because
miss something?
you see like people like dudes on Twitter telling girls to smile. You see this, right?
Oh, I was
Or
thinking,
just in like real life.
I was thinking of it more in terms of like how could you manipulate a social situation if you were trying to like if you were trying to like walk into somewhere because you're trying to sneak in and you just like made someone smile at you to make it seem like you were with them. But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Do people not tell you, Sarah, just like in normal day to day, like you should smile?
Yeah, they do. I have resting bitch face really bad. Yeah.
See? Want smiles. That's what those guys want. They want smiles. They can't have it though. Also, you can beat a DC 10 charisma saving throw. What's your charisma as Ren?
I don't know exactly, but it's like pretty, like I'd be pretty confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be fine. You don't have to smile. And then it's got like pages and pages of charts for all of these magic items. And it lists, okay, so the way these charts work, these tables, they list items as minor items and major items. So it lists all common minor items, all uncommon minor items, all rare minor items, very rare, and then very legendary. And then it does the same thing with major items, except there's no common major items.
I really like their like added levels of classification, like for the traps especially, because I've looked through trap content before and I remember just being like, how would I find this at a glance?
Right.
If you were in session and you were like, I just want a basic trap, you would have to like
Right.
It gives you a number of basic traps that you can just pull from. If you don't want to make your own, you just want to use a pit trap or crossbow or whatever, swinging blades, something.
Yeah, just for like a standard, because not every trap can be super fancy.
So these items are also from the DMG. So it organizes all of those, and it tells you the item itself in alphabetical order, the type. So is it a wondrous item? Is it armor? Is it a weapon? Is it a ring? A rod? A staff or a wand? Do you have to attune to it? It has a column for whether or not you have to attune to it.
Oh, that's huge. So nice.
That is huge. Because I've found myself going through and making notes on like items that I want to include or not include in a particular part of the adventure, and I'm always like, okay, well, does this require attunement or does it not? And
right.
I'm always worried about that too, because like I could very easily accidentally equip too many, like without even meaning to, and that sucks. Yeah.
Also, next to the attunement, it tells you if yes, then it tells you if it requires a specific kind. So a wand of polymorph. Does it require attunement? Yes. Spellcaster. Staff of power.
That's so nice.
Yes. Sorcerer, warlock, or wizard.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Because whenever we get a new magic item, we're always like, okay, who can use it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do we have to do? Who can like do it because of attunement? Who can actually use it? And you don't want to get into a magic item and then figure out you can't actually use it.
Right.
That's pretty rad.
I need to get this book.
Yeah, I just think
it is a cool book. Yeah, I bought it for $30. It was here, and basically it shipped to me. I received it on release day.
Wow, that's cool. That's a good price too. That's like way less than what maybe they're reducing it a little bit because they're pretty expensive. I mean, granted, like
this is a supplement. It's not it's not one of the major books.
Yeah, there's just so much in it that it seems like worth it.
And now we have spells. Cleric spells. Cantrips. Toll the Dead. Word of Radiance. First level, Ceremony. Third level, Life Transference. Fifth level, Dawn and Holy Weapon.
Dawn?
What does that do?
I feel like Eric needs
Wash your clothes? I don't know, man.
It sounds pretty.
Seventh level, Temple of the Gods.
What does that do?
We will find out. It also tells you what school of magic that these spells are in.
Oh my word. Thank you.
I don't know why the original 5e Player's Handbook does not do that.
Maybe they just didn't think people would know, like care.
Oh my god. Some of the rules require you to
I know, it
pick
kills
from
me.
schools. And, it's so annoying. Okay, so the wizard spell list is a page long. So, like, of new spells.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Cantrips: control flames, create bonfire, frostbite, gust, infestation, mold earth, shape water, thunderclap, toll the dead. First level: absorb elements, catapult, cause fear, earth tremor, ice knife, snare. Second level: Agonazar's scorcher, dragon's breath, dust devil for vacuuming, earthbind, Maximilian's earthen grasp.
Dude,
What is catapult?
I want to get Ice Knife as Tave. That's
Mind Spike, Pyrotechnics, Shadow Blade, Skywrite. You guys were looking for something to write in the sky with. Snillix Snowball Swarm.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
Snillix Snowball Swarm.
okay.
I don't know what that's from, but Warding Wind. Those were second level spells. Third level spells: Catnap, Enemies Abound, Erupting Earth, Flame Arrows, Life Transference, Melf's Minute Meteors, or Minute Meteors. Minute, probably. Summon Lesser Demons. Thunderstep. It's like a new kind of music. Thunderstep. Tidal Wave, Tiny Servant,
Tiny servant?
Wall of Sand, Wall of Water. Fourth level: Charm Monster, Elemental Bane, Sickening Radiance. Desmond, your radiance sickens me. Storm Sphere, Summon Greater Demon, Vitriolic Sphere, Watery Sphere. Fifth level: Control Winds, Dance Macabre.
Oh, what's that? Oh, I want to know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
I want to know what that
Dawn.
is.
You also get Dawn.
I could have Dawn too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very attached to it already.
Innervation, Far Step. Another kind of music. Got some Far Step and Thunder Step.
Got that far step life.
Immolation, Infernal Calling, Negative Energy Flood.
Negative energy flood?
It's like social media. Ha!
I would like to cast Twitter.
I open up my Facebook page and
Skill Empowerment, Steel Wind Strike. That's like from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Synaptic Static, Transmute Rock, Wall of Light. Sixth level: create homunculus. Little furry creature. Investiture of flame, investiture of ice, investiture of stone, investiture of wind.
What's an investiture?
I don't know. Let's look that word up. Mental prison. Ooh, like from Sherlock.
Like
Scatter.
Ren's life every day.
Soul cage. Tensor's transformation. At seventh level: crown of stars, power word pain, whirlwind. Eighth level: Abidalzim's horrid wilting, illusory dragon. Like from one of the opening scenes of Lord of the Rings.
What?
At Bilbo's party.
yeah. Firework Dragon.
Maddening darkness and mighty fortress. Ninth
Wait.
level: invulnerability, mass polymorph, and psychic scream.
Mass Polymorph. That's
Okay,
know
what would you
about
like
all
to hear about first?
Oh, let's kind of start.
Ice Knife.
Ice knife.
Are those wizard and sword? I guess that's just wizard. Sorcerer probably has some of those, but not all.
Sorcerer has some of those. Yes,
Gotcha.
you do have ice knife.
Nice.
First level.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. 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 I'm so excited.
Ice knife. You create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing damage. Hit or miss, the shard then explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Wow.
Ooh,
Really cool.
that's really cool.
So it's an AoE, and if you rolled well, then you get a plus 1d10
Wow.
on the damage of the target, the original target.
Right.
I want to know about all of them.
Okay.
You could just read me all the spells now, Matt. No, I want to know about
That's a lot of words.
You're gonna be here until
catapult. What's catapult?
Okay, catapult. Yeah, I'm imagining that you launch somebody through
Me
the
too.
universe.
That's what I'm hoping it is.
Catapult. Catapult. Choose one object weighing 1 to 5 pounds within range that isn't being worn or carried. The object flies in a straight line up to 90 feet in the direction you choose before falling to the ground, stopping early if it impacts against a solid surface.
That's
90
cool.
feet isn't actually that far.
No, it's not.
From home base to the very back of a baseball field is 400 feet.
Yeah. That's
And
okay, though. That's
People
still
throw
cool.
that far.
But what if you were trying to steal something and you just needed to get it like over a wall?
Yeah. This is a first level spell, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Stopping
Let's,
if it impacts against a solid surface. If the object would strike a creature, that creature must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the object strikes the target and stops moving. When the object strikes something, the object and what it strikes each take 3d8 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. That's a little bit more worth a spell slot.
3D, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that?
When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the maximum weight of objects you can target with the spell increases by 5 pounds per level. And the damage
Interesting.
increases by 1d8.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good damage.
That's not bad. Yeah.
What's Crown of Stars?
Crown of Stars.
Is that level 7?
One of my favorite book series is called the Crown of Stars series.
It is level 7. Good memory.
Good memory, Kel. Jeez.
7 star-like motes of light appear and orbit your head until the spell ends, signifying confusion.
Oh.
I added that part. You can use a bonus action to send one of these motes streaking toward one creature or object within 120 feet of you. When you do so, make a ranged spell attack. On a hit, the target takes 4d12 radiant damage.
What?
Whether you hit or miss, the mote explodes. No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It says EX dash, and so I assumed explodes. Whether you hit or miss, the mote is expended.
Oh.
Less exciting. The spell ends early if you expend the last mote. If you have 4 or more motes remaining, they shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet.
Wow.
Wow. I want that. What's
Cool.
a illusory dragon?
Make a bonus action to send one of these motes streaking toward one creature. Okay, so basically on each of your turns for 7 rounds, you can do make a bonus action for a chance to do 40-12 damage.
That's good.
It's one action on yourself.
That's real good.
You guys want to know what dawn is? It's right here on my thumb.
Yeah.
The light of dawn shines down on a location you specify within range. Until the spell ends, a 30-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder of bright light glimmers there. This light is sunlight.
Oh.
When the cylinder appears, each creature in it must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 4d10 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. A creature must also make the saving throw whenever it ends its turn in the cylinder.
That's cool. It's like a
It's
moonbeam.
like daylight, or I guess it's called daylight, isn't it?
Like sustained daylight, I guess. Yeah, because that Doesn't okay. What's Mighty Fortress?
Wait, were you asking about a dragon?
Yeah, I do want to know about the illusory dragon.
Illusory dragon.
I feel very strongly
illusion.
about that.
The only component is somatic.
So you just speak an illusory dragon.
No, somatic. So like.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By gathering threads of shadow material from the Shadowfell, you create a huge shadowy dragon in an unoccupied space that you can see within range. The illusion lasts for the spell's duration and occupies the space as if it were a creature. When the illusion appears, any of your enemies that can see it must succeed a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of it for 1 minute.
Whoa.
That's cool.
1 minute is good.
As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the illusion up to 60 feet. Also in the movement, you can cause it to exhale a blast of energy in a 60-foot cone originating from its space. When you create the dragon, choose a damage type.
Wow.
Each creature in the cone must make an intelligence saving throw, taking 7d6 damage of the chosen damage type on a failed save or half as much on a successful one.
Dang.
That's amazing.
The illusion is tangible because of the shadow stuff used to create it. This is made of shadow stuff.
I can feel the shadow stuff.
Oh, man. But attacks
Whoa.
miss it automatically. It succeeds on all saving throws, and it is immune to all damage and conditions.
Huh.
A creature that uses an action to examine the dragon can determine that it is an illusion by succeeding on an intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC.
However, it still does damage to them,
Yeah.
even if they know it's an illusion.
If a creature discerns the illusion for what it is, the creature can see through it and has advantage on saving throws against its breath. So it's still emitting shadow stuff at them.
Right.
It's
hurts
still really
them.
useful.
But it's not a real dragon. It's just real pain that's coming from it.
Right.
Where the dragon's fake, but the pain is not.
That's amazing.
Quite real.
Mental prison. You attempt to bind a creature within an illusory cell that only it perceives. Mimes do this to themselves.
Did you add that?
On a successful save, the target takes 5d10 psychic damage.
On a
The spell-
successful save?
And the spell ends, yeah. On a failed save, the target takes 5d10 psychic damage, and you make the area immediately around the target space appear dangerous to it in some way.
And then do you take more damage like every
If the
turn?
target is moved out of the illusion, makes a melee attack through it, or reaches any part of its body through it, the target takes 10d10 psychic damage, and the spell ends.
Wow.
That's good. Dang.
What other
What's Mighty Fortress?
Mighty Fortress?
There was another one too, but I can't remember. I got really excited and just sort of sustained that level of excitement the whole time you were reading them.
A fortress of stone appears from a square area of ground of your choice that you can see within range, with no buildings or other structures on it, 120 feet on each side.
What?
The fortress has 4 turrets with square bases. And it gives you lots of dimensions.
How long does it last?
The wall is 1 foot thick. 1 minute.
That's pretty cool.
Just kidding. Casting time is 1 minute. To cast it, you need a diamond worth at least 500 gold that the spell consumes. Each of the floors can be divided into as many rooms as you like. A small keep stands inside the enclosed area. So there's outer walls and then a keep inside. Kind of like Culver Keep.
Yeah.
The keep is furnished and decorated however you like, and it contains sufficient food to serve a 9-course banquet for up to 100 people each day.
Wow.
I feel real strongly about that.
Furnishings, food, and other objects created by this spell crumble to dust if removed from the fortress. A staff of 100 invisible servants obeys any command given to them by creatures you designate when you cast a spell.
Whoa. It's like the Magnificent Mansion, but I guess in this plane of existence, right?
Yeah. After 7 days, or when you cast this spell somewhere else, the fortress harmlessly crumbles and sinks back into the ground, leaving any creatures that were inside it safely on the ground.
7 days?
7 days. Casting this spell on the same spot once every 7 days for a year makes the fortress permanent.
Wow.
Like a teleportation circle.
Oh my gosh. That's cool.
Wow.
So to do that, you need 52 times 500 gold pieces.
Yeah, you need to generate at least 500 gold every month or every
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah.
I feel like at higher levels that would be like fairly easy
Right.
if we establish some sort of like setup in Nevin, like a business.
Right.
Pyrotechnics is cool. It's just fireworks.
Oh, I gotta get this just for the spells.
Yeah.
Just look at them.
That is awesome.
Well, there are a lot of cool spells in this. Tiny Servant.
Well, yeah, that was one of them. Tiny servant.
I will
it's an
be
actual
right
thing.
back. I'm sorry.
You're
That's
good.
okay.
You touch one tiny non-magical object that isn't attached to another object or surface that isn't being carried by another creature. The target animates and sprouts little arms and legs, becoming a creature under your control until the spell ends, or the creature drops to 0 hit points.
I'm singing "Be Our Guest" in my head right now. Oh my god.
There's
So
a
I can have,
there's
like,
a
a little-
picture. There's a
What is it?
picture. As a bonus action, you can mentally command the creature if it is within 120 feet of you. If you control multiple creatures with this spell, you can command any or all of them at the same time, issuing the same command to each one. You can have an army of these.
I could do a whole song and dance number.
It lasts 8 hours.
That makes me so happy. I literally want to cry. You could just have like a bunch of like inanimate objects that were just like your little friends. Like I could have a teacup and I could be like, come here, teacup, and you can come over.
It lasts, casting time is 1 minute. It is a 3rd level spell.
Worth. 100% worth.
At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, you can animate 2 additional objects for each spell slot level above 3rd. So at 4th, you get 3.
That makes me real happy.
If you issue no commands, the servant does nothing other than defend itself against hostile creatures. Once given an order, the servant continues to follow that order until its task is complete.
Oh.
I heard what you said about the tiny servant, and I'm on board.
Yes, Carol.
You can decide what action the creature will take and where it will move during the next turn, or you can issue a simple general command such as fetch a key, stand watch, stack some books.
Stack some books.
Guys, I'm literally living my Disney princess dream right now.
Okay.
My new quest is finding this spell.
There you go.
Is it a little drink?
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Little tankard with arms and legs.
Look
Yeah.
at how happy he is. Oh my gosh, you guys. I could have 4 hairbrushes. That's my new favorite spell.
Tiny helper. Is that what it's called? Tiny helper?
It should be called that, Kale. It should be. Tiny helper. That's so cute.
Tiny servant. Yeah, basically.
I love it. That makes my heart happy. All of them are actually really cool.
So after the spell list, kind of wrapping this up, the Appendix A gives some advice on shared campaigns. So if multiple people DM the same campaign, gives you advice on running that. I feel like that's a bit of a rare scenario. I've seen some people on Twitter and Reddit talking about that kind of thing, that it works for their group. That's cool. I've never tried that. I feel like it'd be fine, especially if you're doing like published adventures and stuff like that.
Right.
I feel like it would just be a different vibe.
Right. It would be a different vibe entirely. It'd be something that you like intentionally, strategically do.
Right. It's. I think it's nice having a world that's created by one person, and affected by everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know. If you're you said like if you're doing published stuff, that makes sense because it's all already there and accessible.
Yeah. The improv would be really hard.
Yeah, if it was improv, it would be kind of like, I guess you could do it, but it would be weird having multiple people know what's going, really what's going on. You couldn't do a thing like Nevin like that, I don't think.
No, there would be too much inconsistency across all of it. Even if I was like, okay, I'm going to DM the southeastern region, and we each took regions that we were going to DM, each region would be its own little nation, and that would be cool if we understood that, okay, there's going to not be consistency across each region.
Yeah, but the consistency is like what builds up like those oh shit moments where stuff all comes together. That's right.
And so that if that's what you want, then you kind of need to stick to that and do that with intentionality. But if you're like, okay, well, our group, a single DM, it's just not going to work for our group. We have to have multiple DMs. We have to take turns, or me and this other guy, or like if me and Sarah had to swap off on something, then what we'd have to all agree to and understand and accept at the very beginning is that there's not going to be consistency between the two of us and whatever it was we were doing.
Plus, styles are so different,
I'd really love to DM this campaign that I've been working on.
I really want to play in it.
I really want to play in it too.
I've brought up so many opportunities to play Bohannon or Ricky Dean.
Yeah.
And I've played Ricky Dean in a one shot, but man, I wanna play my little cowboy.
I want you to play him too.
And Sarah needs to play her
moose.
Her moose, yeah. Her healing moose.
Healing moose.
Fairy moose.
Fairy moose. Flower crown moose.
At the end of the book, Appendix B, like I said at the beginning of the stream or beginning of the video, there are 20 pages from page 175 to 191. 192 of NPC names, and like
that's pretty cool.
That's
charts
pretty cool.
on charts on charts of D percentile names, and so
you can like roll for stuff.
Yeah,
too.
you roll for it. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So rather than just pointing at the page and being like, it's this one, you roll, and so now you have Dragonborn, female and male. You have 50 names for both.
That's crazy.
Then you have Dragonborn last names, Dragonborn clans. Dwarf female and male, 50 names each.
Wow.
Dwarf clans, 50 names.
Can I roll on the dragon last names?
Yep.
The clans.
It's going to be impossible to pronounce.
Good.
Good. All right, I'm ready. Is it a percentile?
Mhm.
Percentile dice? 18.
Okay, I was hoping you'd roll a 5. Dardendrian.
Ooh, that's pretty.
How's that spelled?
Daardendrian. Dardendrian.
That's pretty.
I was hoping that you roll a 5. A 5 is Baharush.
Bahalush.
Baharush. Roosh.
Oh man, that's really good.
Baharush.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, dwarf male and female, dwarf clan, elf child, elf female adult, elf male adult, elf family names, gnome female, male, and clan names, halfling female, male, and family names, half-orc female, male names, tiefling female, male, and virtue names. Interesting.
I love the tiefling virtue because they name themselves after virtues sometimes.
I didn't realize that.
My
So-
tiefling in my other campaign's name is Valor.
Oh, that's cool.
Goes by Val. Yeah.
Huh.
If you roll a 59 or a 60, your virtue name is murder.
Cool.
So your name could be...
Hi, you can call me Murder. Can I not? There's something else I can
If
call
you roll
you?
a 5960 on the tiefling male and then a 5960 on the tiefling virtue, your name is Mordai Murder.
More die murder.
Or, no, I'm sorry. That's 5758. 5960 is Mormo. So Mormo Murder.
More murder. That's cute though. That one.
That's cute. I'm gonna name Mormo Murder.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel
so-
like he's like real cute. Yeah.
I'm gonna use that in my campaign. Like, no
do
doubt.
it. Do it.
Mormo Murmur.
he's gonna take himself way more seriously than anybody else does.
Oh, he's gonna be like little. Oh.
Human names. What's really cool about this is that they included cultures. So you have
Oh.
Arabic female and Arabic male,
That's awesome.
Celtic female, Celtic male, Chinese female, Chinese male, Egyptian female, Egyptian male,
Wow.
English female, English male, French, German, Greek, Indian, Japanese,
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
Mesoamerican, Niger Congo, Norse, Polynesian, Roman, Slavic, Spanish, Spanish. And that's the
Wow.
last one. And that is Xanthar's guide to just about everything.
What's his fish's name?
All right.
Thought I was gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget. That shit's cute.
I refuse to forget.
Silgar.
Elgar. And he
That's-
loves his fish.
You could have said
SYLGAR.
absolutely anything, and that's the
You're right
Yeah.
about that.
That's
that is
true.
exact
That's true.
Silgar.
reaction you would have gotten.
It's a goldfish. Silgar. So the opening paragraph. Beneath the bustling city of Waterdeep, a beholder, crime lord, keeps tabs on everyone and everything. Or so the beholder thinks. Known as Xanathar, this bizarre being believes it can gather information on everything in the Dungeons & Dragons multiverse. The beholder desires to know it all. But no matter what the beholder learns and what treasures it acquires, its most prized possession in all the multiverse remains its goldfish, Silgar.
That makes me so happy in my heart. I like can't really handle it.
And that's the book, you guys. I recommend this. I recommend it to my players because there's a lot of really cool options for your characters that I would like for you to explore. And I would be absolutely happy to say, you know what, hey, I feel like Tave maybe isn't a battle master class fighter. I think he's more of a this kind of a thing, kind of a character. I would say that your stats would probably need to be about the same, but if like there was a different flavor or a different subclass that you guys felt like, you know, this fits me better, you know, then I'd be definitely open to those discussions. Or if there were like feats that you wanted to exchange out for like the racial feats or skill proficiencies that you're looking at, like, oh, I mean, I took the skill proficiency because I didn't know what else to take, but now that we have really cool and like useful tool proficiencies, I would like to exchange this proficiency of my skill that I just don't care about and don't use for my character for a tool that I would use all the time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Because, you know, I want the game to be full of fun, cool moments, to be awesome, you know, all over the place. So it's, you know, it sucks if you're looking at your ability list and you're like, well, you know, I can intimidate people, but that goes entirely against my entire ethos of characteristics and how I conduct myself. So it doesn't make any sense. You know, we can exchange that and explore that. Well, for anybody that is still watching, thank you for joining us on. This is basically a new show that we're doing. Ales, Tales, and Critical Fails. We had a talk show review show called Tavern Talk. That it was pointed out to me that there are a number of talk shows and just shows in general around D&D and fantasy topics that have tavern associated with the names, and there's actually a really popular D&D show called Tavern Talk. So
not gonna use that then.
Way to go, Matt, on the research there, brother. But we changed that, and we are now calling it Ales, Tales, and Critical Fails. And we're going to do more of these kinds of reviews, talk shows. Probably won't last quite so long as 4 hours. But we wanted to go through the entire book of Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Recommend this for everybody, DMs, players alike. Hit that like, subscribe. Keep up with us on Twitter to find out when we go live on Twitch, because we're starting to do that more often. And we'll keep on keeping on. See you guys.